Hello, Robotics Notes fans. Happy February 26th, and welcome to what is undoubtedly going to be the longest episode of Robotics Notes Elite Like Animal Crossing. It is 2:57 a.m. And for those of you who haven't noticed, there's little phase markers at the on each in-game day, and you may notice this one says Phase 10, and this one says Phase 12. Over the course of February 26, there is the end of Phase 10, the entirety of Phase 11, and the beginning of Phase 12. So, forgive me if I'm gonna be low energy by the end of this one. But I'm just gonna have to zoom through this. With that said, let's load the data. Hello everyone, I'm here right now at the Expo Arena in Odaiba, Tokyo. It's now the 5th day since opening, and despite it being a weekday, the Tokyo Expo is totally packed. At the Odaiba venue, also known as the Giant Robot Festival, I'm happy to introduce a high school talent. The club president of the Tanegashima Robot Club, Akio Sanomiya-san. Hello, it's nice to meet you. The pretty reporter points her microphone at Akio, who stiffens up immediately. Is she going to be able to answer her questions? I'm watching from a distance, and quite frankly, I'm concerned. This is a live broadcast. It could be shown on Tanegashima right now. The Tanegashima Robot Club entered as a general exhibitor, and there are only high schoolers here. Amazing. Sanomiya-san, what made you decide to build a giant robot? It's always been my dream to become a robot. Calm down. I see. Is robot development a big thing in Tanegashima? I know it's famous for space development. It's not at all. We get laughed at a lot for our work. There's only 2 of us left in the club now. But we had lots of people who helped. I think Japanese people truly love robots. Interesting. It's been 5 days since the Tokyo Expo started. What do you think so far? We're just getting started. We're gonna win the Grand Prix. Wow, that's a very bold declaration. I'm certainly looking forward to seeing how this plays out. Now, your older sister is the Misaki Sanomiya of Exoskeleton Company, currently huge with the media, right? Misaki Sanomiya-san is set to hold a demonstration at this venue today, but... Huh? That's the first Akio or I have heard about that. Akio flashes me a puzzled look. I don't have an answer for her. I only just heard it myself. I'm surprised too. What kind of person is your older sister to you, Akio-san? She's going to be here today? Yes, that's what was written in the press release. Misa's coming here. Yes, that's right. The reporter glances over at the man who seems to be your director and then looks back at to the camera. How exciting, right? Maybe we could see the 2 of you perform together. Anyway, after a brief commercial break, we'll be introducing giant robots from various countries around the world. One of the assistants yells, "Entering commercial break." The reporter's smile morphs into an expression of relief. That was unexpected. Looks like things kind of blew up, huh? I'm sorry for surprising you like that. Did you not know your sister was going to be here? I didn't. The plan was to introduce the Tanegashima Robot Club's robot, but the reporter and the director draw close to each other and quietly discuss something. Their conversation ends quickly, and the reporter offers Akio a smile and a handshake. Anyhow, we really appreciate your cooperation, Sanomiya-san. That'll be all for the interview. Thanks for your time. She forces a smile, and like an adult, offers a word of gratitude before trying to head to the next interview. My sister, do you know when she'll be arriving? I believe I heard she'd be here around 2. 2, okay, got it. Thank you so much. In the end, the reporter flashes her a smile and dashes off to the next booth with her people. What a kind person. Kai, she said Misa's coming. Akio's expression is even more tense than it was during the interview. Yeah, it felt like the arena was more crowded than usual. Now I know why. Do you think we'll get to see her with all these people here? We know where she's going, the X-Ski booth. If she's not going to come to us, we'll go to her. We've been forced to chase after her all this time, but now we'll be lying in wait. We won't have to have a leisurely conversation. We won't be able to have a leisurely conversation here, but we just need to meet up with her. If we do that, all the misunderstandings from constantly missing each other will be cleared up. At least I hope so. Akio is still tense, so I put my hands on her cheeks and stir them around. What was that for? You're just going to see your sister. Why are you so nervous? Because I didn't think I'd get to see her today. Ugh, I'm not ready for this. Could she be more of a handful? Look, this is our final chance. I know. Today's gonna be a crazy one. I look at my wristwatch. February 26, 2020, 11:14 a.m. Misane is scheduled to appear in less than 3 hours. Unknown. Blah, 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 blah. Back and forth. Back and forth. The floor beneath me sways back and forth according to the rhythm. The sound of waves faintly reaches my ears. In this dark, narrow room, I put on a black bodysuit. Like a membrane, it's thin and elastic. It sticks tightly against my bare skin. The cool feeling is pleasant. Then I realize that my body is hot, and I bite my lip. Without realizing it, I'm excited. Back and forth. The floor sways. The world shakes. Outside the small window is a sea of blue, no land in sight. Wyvern, the operation begins in 90 minutes. Get ready. Understood. Never thought I'd get Wyvern as a call sign. I'm sure it was intentional. Same call sign used in a certain robot anime long ago. A ghost that doesn't exist. A phantom with no substance. It might be unexpectedly fitting. I hold my helmet under my arm and open the watertight door of the room. I walk through a narrow passage toward the hangar. Exiting onto a catwalk, I look down at the giant black spider on the standby below. I wish it was white. Back and forth. The world shakes again. The waves are high today. But that means nothing to me. So yeah, the motors aren't hydraulic, but they are kind of hydraulic, plus some are electric. Akio's been incoherent on the mic for a while now. She keeps messing up what she's supposed to say. That energy she had from the first day is long gone. The fact that Misane is coming here today has completely put her on edge. What kind of motors are you using? The motors are, mono... I hurriedly input a command to make Model 2 turn on the spot. Akio notices the noise and stops talking. She looks over at me with a blank expression on her face. She doesn't even seem to have realized what she was saying. I shake my head at her in silence and she comes to her senses. It's a trade secret! Good grief, what a handful. Since Akio is busy working the mic, I gotta handle the laser gun and operate Model 2 at the same time. Michi only came on the first day. He's currently MIA. I really hope he's handling our housing problem. At least Mr. Candy shows up once a day. But all he does is watch the robot with a satisfied look for about an hour before leaving. So aside from the opening day, it's basically just been me and Akio running the booth and Model 2. Command inputs require both hands. The laser transmission gun also requires both hands to properly aim it. It's impossible to do both at the same time. Stuck between a rock and a hard place, I've had to use special commands a whole bunch. Once I input one of these commands, the robot moves by itself for about 30 seconds. I only input a command when Akio gives the order, otherwise I'm holding up the transmission gun. I've never had to work this much in my life. But given there's nobody else here to do it, I have little say in the matter. Finally, we'll end our performance by showing you our hero's super combo. Gun barrel. Do it! Whoa, whoa, whoa. Normally she'd explain over the mic that gun barrel would be transitioning from a Gekisai Daiichi into a blast of spirit. Did she forget about that? This Misane stuff must have really messed her up. Whatever, I'll just do as I'm told. I input the Gekisai Daiichi command, immediately pick up the transmission gun from the table next to me and fire. Once Gekisai Daiichi is about to end, I put down the transmission gun and input the next command. When the combo ends, Akio will thank the audience for coming. Well, she's supposed to, but she doesn't. She's looking around restlessly. What's she doing? Come on, keep it together. It's when I'm about to warn her. I notice that it's not just Akio who's so restless. Everyone in the audience is whispering a single name, almost like some big game of telephone. Misaki Shinomiya has arrived. The rumor propagates like a wave and spreads out amongst the throngs of people. Before long, the whole audience starts moving simultaneously. Not just the audience in front of our booth, the guests at the other booths are all heading to the same direction. There's little doubt they're headed for X-Ski. Everyone's going to see Misane. What should I do? Should we go too? But after my experience with the Sea of Flesh in the first day, I'm a bit wary. As for Akiho, I have no clue what she's thinking as she puts the mic down and dashes in the opposite direction of the crowd. Aki-chan! I'll be back in a little bit. Where are you going? The staff area. Misa should be coming out from over there. Oh, I get it. She's trying to catch Misane before she goes to the X-Ski booth. Clever girl. I shut down the power after having Model 2 crouch down and quickly follow after Akiho. Eyewitnesses in the staff area say they saw Misane in the corridor. The staff area corridor is off limits to general visitors, so there's nobody inside. Considering the only thing that separates it and tens and thousands of people is a single wall, the corridor itself is silent, creepily so. But that's convenient for us. We're able to spot Misane from afar. There's only one person other than us in here. That's right. She's right there. She has a sense of elegance to her, even in the way that she walks. Her back is perfectly straight, like she's filled with confidence. There's no way me or Akio would ever mistake her for anyone else. Nothing has changed since we saw her last on Tanegashima 7 years ago. Misa! Misane! I too loudly yell out to her, following after Akiho. After hearing our voices, she slowly turns around. Misane is dressed in a tight white suit for use with a hug. It's the very same one she wears in the X-Ski commercials. The suit clearly exposes her natural body lines. It's kind of sexy, I gotta admit it. The way she was walking alone down the corridor, helmet under her arm, it looked like it could have been a movie scene. We're finally all together. Finally. It's been 7 long years since the day we said our goodbyes at the Tanegashima airport. The only contact I've had with her since then is when she called me last summer. And now that very same Misane is standing in front of me, the same one that never returned to Tanegashima. Misa. Akio hasn't spoken to her in 7 years. I'm sure this reunion is especially important to her. I honestly figured she'd run over and hug Misane, but Akio does nothing. Maybe she's nervous. Oh, and since the two of us dashed over here, we're both out of breath. Given our attacks, neither of us can do much exercise. But both of us stop in front of Misane, breathing heavily. The whole time she just looks at us. She doesn't say a word. All 3 of us are just looking at each other in silence. Akio is the first one to break the silence. Misa, long time no see. Akio is clearly very emotional right now. She's looking at Misane as though she were an actual star, her eyes filled with tears. That's really you. Hey, don't you recognize me? Wait, we're sisters. That's a weird thing to ask. Plus, me, Dad, and Mom sent you a picture every New Year's. It's been 7 years, right? I was still just a tiny little kid back then. So what do you think? I've changed, right? Although my breasts and stuff didn't grow much. Not like you, anyway. Aki-chan, did you forget I'm here? Oh, TMI, right? Our conversation ends there. Misane still hasn't said a word. She's been quietly listening to Akio talk with a kind-looking smile on her face. She doesn't try to say anything. Her eyes are glued to Akiho. It appears as though she's giving her full attention. But why isn't she saying anything? And why is she treating me like air? She won't even make eye contact with me. This is mean even for her. Is this her sadistic idea of a reunion? Is she teasing me again? I hate this. I'm too old to let her get the best of me like that. Fine. I'll talk to her then. Misane. Aki. I just happened to speak at the same time that Misane voices Akiho's name. Crap, what awful timing. Fine, I guess I'll shut up for now. You've grown. Yeah. That brief comment is enough to wash away all the uncertainty from Akio's face and put a smile in its place. There's a lot I want to talk about, Misa. There's a lot. But there's something I need to tell you first. The robot club you started has made it all the way here. You made it to the expo, the greatest stage on the planet. But the club itself got disbanded before we could get here. And the robot we're exhibiting isn't the gun barrel that you designed. But we've inherited the Central T Robot Club's will. I promise. Over the last 7 years, it's been passed down to each generation, ending with me and Kai's. Us, all the past Robot Club members, all the people who helped us out. We carried Gun Barrel to the expo. So, I'd be super happy if you took a look at our robot, even if just for a hot second. Aki. Yeah? Mom and Dad, well. Yeah, Jax is gonna be firing off a rocket for the first time in years, so Dad's super hyped up. I'm getting impatient. I just want Akio to wrap things up soon. With Misane right in front of me, I'm overflowing with things I want to say. I feel like I'm drowning in these feelings and won't be able to say anything. But regardless, there's one thing I absolutely have to tell her. Just the one, no matter what. Misane. I hate to forcefully butt into the I have forcefully butt into the conversation. I have a message from Mizuka-san. My voice feels hoarse. I feel a throbbing pain deep inside my chest. I still haven't managed to get over it. No, it's not the sort of thing that should be so easily overcome and forgotten. Misane doesn't even attempt to look at me. I'm worried that she doesn't see me. Mizuka-san asked me to tell you this the next time I saw you, just before she died. This is what she said. Thank you for the hug. It's thanks to this that I was able to live a pretty normal life for these last 2 years since the accident. I know I'm not reading the room. I know this isn't the right time. We've been waiting for this moment for years. Throwing cold water on that and making things awkward for everyone. I'm sorry, Akiho. But I had to get this out now. Misane, Mizuka-san was right there in front of my eyes, but Aki. Misane abruptly interrupts me. Huh? Misane still has that smile on her face. I'm confused. Have you decided what you're going to do after graduation? Wait, what? What's going on? I don't get what's going on. What is this Misane saying, huh? My brain refuses to understand. Why did she just ignore me? I don't care if she literally ignores me. It sucks, but maybe she's just on edge because she has a demonstration coming up. But those were Mizuka-san's final words. It's the one thing I didn't want her to ignore. Misane would never do that. Mizuka-san was her best friend. She'd never do that. Has she changed? All the bits of info I've gathered up until now, all the delusions, they all start to bubble to the surface. Misa? Hey, Misane. You have to at least hear Mizuka-san's final words. I say to her expectantly. Look at me, Misane. You need to accept Mizuka-san's words. Why won't you look at me? Misane! There you are. Huh? Suddenly a man's voice echoes in the corridor. Before we realize that a single man is standing apart from us and pointing a handgun in our direction. That's a real gun. It's him. I remember that man's face. I saw him with Misane on the news before. I think he's Misane's boss. Sawada-kyun. Sawada. Toshiyuki Sawada. A man connected to the Tavistock Institute. Seeing how he's pointing a gun at us, he must be trying to erase us. I glance at Misane to check her expression, but she's not even looking at him. She's not even looking at me or Akiho anymore. Her gaze is fixed in another direction. Despite the situation, she still has that calm smile on her face. How is she so calm and composed right now? Is she okay with me or Akiho getting killed? Or is she in on all this? Don't move. Put your hands up. Kai. Misa. Sawada holds the gun with both hands and carefully shuffles towards us. I feel like reality has suddenly vanished. Just moments ago we were celebrating our reunion with Misane. But now my heart is falling to pieces. In the distance I can hear the various booth companions explaining their robots. The hustle and bustle of people, the jovial background noise. It's like another world over there. Am I really still in the expo arena? I said put your hands up. Akio looks like she's about to cry as she raises her hands. I bite my lip and do as told. The fact that this guy is Misane's boss means, well, means my delusions aren't delusions, they're reality. All the things I've heard up until now. If you get involved any further, you'll regret it. Regardless, Yashio-senpai, you're in a real bad position right now. Master was murdered. The world is more ugly and foul than you think. Their words echo in the back of my mind. Was this what Mizuka-san's warning meant? Is this what she meant by ignorance is bliss? How Ko Kamijima was murdered. How Frau's mom was murdered. How important people around the world, even Mizuka-san, are being killed by out-of-control hugs. Has this all been carried out by Misane and her allies? If that's true, that's really the case. I just can't. I didn't think you were connected to them. You certainly managed to fool me. I want to tear out my hair. What exactly is he talking about? Who is he saying that to? Can't be Akiho. She doesn't even know anything about the conspiracy. I never told her. In that case. Sawada's talking to me, the one who spread the Kamijima reports around the world. But I don't understand a single bit of what he's saying. What are you plotting? What's your true end game? Answer me, Sinomiya. Huh? Sinomiya? Not me? There's no way he means Akiho. The only other person here with the name Sinomiya is Aki. I nearly jump. I feel like my heart was about to come flying out of my mouth. Misane's been completely silent since Sawada showed up, until now. And she's still smiling. She still wears the welcoming smile despite a gun being pointed at us. She stands totally calmly. Misa. Has the rocket been launched yet? Misane, what are you saying? Can't help myself. I just don't understand any of this. It's like Misane is a totally different person. The Misane I loved and respected is no longer there. The right stuff inside her is gone. I don't know if my words reached her, but the smile nonetheless vanishes from her face. She turns and faces Sawada silently. I told you not to move. I will shoot. Stop. Sawada's gazing gun are pointed straight at Misane. Not me, not Akiho. Misane. Shouldn't he be pointing the gun at me? I'm the one who released the reports to the world. The inside of my head is a mess. Both Misa and this man are from the Committee of 300. They're comrades. So why? Misane bends her lips slightly. Hidden hand. Huh? Those words. Misane takes a single step towards the man. She makes no sound. Her movement is inhuman. Get ready for a lot of yawns in this one, gamers, because this is a long boy. Without any prep, she just suddenly starts sprinting. I said don't move! No! Misane! She's dead. Misane is dead. She took that bullet straight on. And yet... Misane slips by Sawada as if nothing had happened. Impossible! I know I hit her! Did he miss? Is that even possible at point-blank range and with such firm aim? There isn't a single drop of blood on the floor. Is she okay? Wait a second. How can Misane run like that without making a sound? Sinomiya, stop! It's then that Akio does something unexpected. She grabs onto Sawada's arm as he tries to shoot Misane in the back. Don't shoot! Let go! You idiot! I instinctively leap in as well. Without thinking, I tackle Sawada from behind. Gah! Knocked down, the gun falls from Sawada's hands. He tries to pick it back up, but I pull his leg from behind. He pulls me down, gets on top, and starts punching me. I cover my face with both arms and kick Sawada in the chest. Got some distance. Without delay, I pick up the gun. I don't know how to use it, but I hold it with both hands and point it at Sawada. Still on his hands and knees, he looks up at me, frustrated. I glance around at my surroundings. There's no sight of Misane anymore. Akio entered the passage leading to the expo arena, chasing after her. What's going on here? You have to stop Sinomiya. Shut up, don't move. What? Suddenly a lonely melody resounds throughout the venue. The moment I hear it, my hairs stand on end. Kagame, Kagame. It's just like that time. It's the same nursery rhyme that played when Mizuka-san's hug went out of control. If this continues, everything will end up like it's written in the Kimijima reports. Yeah. What the hell is going on? Everything that happened in Tanegashima, everything that happened here in Odaiba, it's all starting to connect. I have a bad feeling about this. But with Sawada glaring at me, I can't move. Akiho, Misane. I can hear Kagame Kagame in the expo arena. People in the audience look down at their phone droids wondering what's going on. But I have no time for that. How can I describe what I just saw? Wearing a tight white bodysuit, just like the ones a robot pilot would wear. Misa makes an incredible leap the moment she exits out into the expo arena. It's a leap beyond human capabilities. She probably travels around 5 meters. She glides through the air, flying towards the X-Ski booth crowded with people. I chase after her through the aisles, desperately crying out for her to wait inside my mind. But it's too difficult to move forward. Ugh. Gotta change positions here. The aisles are filled with people. Some are just standing there, wondering what's going on after seeing Misa fly overhead. While it's not as bad as opening day, the place is still jam-packed. I run and I run and I run and bump into people, fall over, get up again. The cycle repeats over and over again. I can't reach her. I can't catch up. Just when I thought I'd finally caught up with her. Just when I thought I'd finally stood shoulder to shoulder with her. She slips away again. She flies past me. I reach out, but I can't touch her. My lungs hurt. I can't catch my breath. Misa! I shout, but my voice is drowned out by the thunderous applause. I crash into a large, well-built man. Well-built man. Goddamn. And fall over onto my backside. He asks if I'm okay and offers me a hand, but I push him aside and look up. There's a large monitor attached to the venue ceiling. The reporter who interviewed me earlier is on screen. She's filming at the Exoskeleton Company booth. On screen I see Misa swoop down, almost like an angel. Or at least that's how I imagine her. Can't hear her voice, but I can tell that the reporter is excited. The audience mistake her fantastical appearance as part of a demonstration, greeting Misa with thunderous applause. However, Misa looks at nobody. She just leaps into the spider-like hug. Misa slips into what appears to be the control module of the robot. Even though the big screen I can tell that Sumeragi is even through the big screen I can tell that Sumeragi has been activated. Its giant black body beginning to stir. The spider jolts awake. Each of its sharp 6 legs begin to wriggle on their own. I can hear massive cheers from where I'm standing. Exoskeleton Company Hug Test Pilot. That's Misa's official title, her real occupation. She's only started doing PR work after she gained attention as a test pilot. So having her pilot a concept model like this at a venue like the Expo is a dream situation. People are hyped. Suragi's noises can't be overheard by the cheering over the cheering of the crowd. However, as far as I can tell through the giant monitor, it's both fast and smooth in how it moves. In my head, I always pictured 6-legged robots as being unwieldy and slow. Guess I was just being silly. It skitters along the floor just like a spider would. Sumeragi smoothly makes its way across the booth, and soon raises one of its legs up high. After extending it upward, it easily reaches the length of about 7 meters. Then immediately afterward, the leg forcefully whips downward. It tears right through the booth's partition. This thing is crazy strong. Those partitions are made of really hard resin. One second, everybody. Yet it tore through it like paper. The entire venue stirs, then falls into total silence. But only for a moment. Screams immediately follow and panic ensues. One second, everybody. Sorry. I'm just doing a thing real fast, real quick. Ho 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 ho. Gomenasai, 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 gomenasai. Hooah. Alright, everyone. I promise this is gonna be over real quick. Just give me 1 second. Alright, just 1 second, I promise. Alright, everyone. Good news. I'm done. I did it. Hooroo, hurrah, hooray. I'm so sorry that I took that. There will not be another break like that. In the recording, I genuinely decided to check something. A wave of people try to distance themselves from Sumeragi. People fall over each other, causing more screams and angry shouts. The cameraman shooting the footage much have been knocked down. The screen only shows the legs of people fleeing. From amidst the throngs of screaming people, things that resemble missiles fly into the air. They spew smoke as they fly at terrifying speed like snarling fangs. They collide with the torso of Conda Company's giant robot, Scarlet-colored fumes arise from it. The shockwave blasts through the inside of the expo arena. Booth walls and people are blown over. Pamphlets rain down from the sky like snow or ash. Did Misa shoot that? Do those missiles come from Sumeragi? That means it's loaded with live ammo. But why? This is the expo arena, not a battlefield. Why would it be loaded with live rounds? Was that the intent from the very beginning? Is this another incident like what happened to Mizuka-san with her hug? Or did Misa plan this? I don't know, and I refuse to accept either option as a possibility. Regardless, nobody can stop Sumeragi now that it's moving. All of the people in the venue are scrambling to be first to escape outside. The robots on display have been left behind, abandoned. The only robot moving in the building is that black giant spider. It crawls along its 6 legs, knocking down booth walls and tables one after another. The defenseless robots have their legs swept from under them before getting smashed by the spider's sharp legs. A missile pod emerges from its torso and unleashes a barrage of guided missiles with a thunderous roar. This is a massacre. It's a one-sided massacre. The best robots from around the world are being murdered. It's a banquet of madness. Unable to fight back, these adorable, amazing, and cool robots are being reduced to scrap. Stop it. I stand frozen in place as I hold my head. Misa, stop it! Another one bites the dust. This time it's the Runo Company's giant robot. It gets caught in the evil clutches of the giant spider and it's subsequently murdered. I have to stop her. I have to stop Misa. What's going on? Misa would never do this. I know she wouldn't. But for now, I have to stop this spider. If I don't, the other robots won't make it out alive. I run to the Tadagashima Robot Club booth. Most of the people are flooding towards the exits to escape, so our booth is totally deserted. It's then that a missile soars overhead. It collides with the expo arena wall and explodes. The entire building shakes violently. I can't help but stagger and crouch down on the spot. The roof collapses, causing dust and rubble to splash into the air. Misa, stop. Stop it! I shout and wipe my tears, then run towards Gun Build 2. Despite the chaos, our robot is still crouched down. It's not damaged, nothing's broken. I look around for any sign of Kai, but it looks like we got separated in all the chaos. I take out my phone droid. I also have the kill ballad system installed. Gun Build 2, activate. I have control. I turn on the power, awkwardly input a command, and watch as Gun Build 2 stands up. I have no idea how long the battery is going to last. It's impossible to operate it and transmit power at the same time. Without constant power from the laser beam, it'll stop moving after about 3 minutes. But even still, there's not a moment to lose right now. I need to save the other robots. I'll stop Misa myself. Please, Gun Build 2, lend me your strength. I have no way of fighting. Its performance is nothing compared compared to the spider's abilities. But I'm the only one here who can do this. I feel eyes on my back. I can also hear the sound of a low-frequency engine. It sends a chill down my spine. I turn around. My vision is blocked by the booth wall, but I can feel the spider wriggling around behind it. I glance at my phone droid's monitor in order to see Gunbuild 2's field of view. There it is. Sumeragi with Misa on board. Is approaching the booth wall. I brace myself. The spider's talon-like leg comes tearing through the booth wall. Its form is revealed through the opening in the wall. I'm scared. Is she chasing after me? Is Misa trying to kill me? Why would she do this? My legs tremble and I nearly sink into the floor. I'm so scared that I'm in tears. Misa! No, you can't back down now. Fight. You have to protect the other robots. You have to fight and stop that spider no matter what. I pull back and begin to input a command into my phone droid. Advance. Advance! 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 Gunbuild 2 approaches the spider. Has the advantage in height. But the spider is fairly short, so I doubt a punch from Gekisai Daiichi will connect. But I have no other means of attack. I don't care if it's just for show. As long as it stops Misa. As long as it stops that spider. Gekisai Daiichi! But unfortunately, inputting the command is difficult. Nervousness and panic make my fingers shake. I can't get it right. It's like my fingers aren't my own. Sweat from my brow drips onto my eyes. Can't help but close them in pain. Before I know it, I'm trembling. It's then that the spider makes its move. It slowly raises its body. Supported by 4 of its legs, it lifts the other 2 up like a praying mantis. To make matters worse, the legs have what appears to be sharp blades installed inside of them. They have a faint gold glow to them. Gunbuild 2 stands within range of those terrifying blades. Stop it. I feel a dull pain run deep inside of my chest. Feels like an icy hand is gripping my heart. It squeezes tightly. This is a sign of an attack. But I don't have time to be worried about that right now. I have to do it. I have to get the command right. If I don't, Model 2 can't move. Stop. I know all of that, and yet the inside of my head is white. All I can do is hold the phone droid like a fool. That robot carries the will of our robot club. It's filled with the hopes and feelings of everyone who has worked on it, including Misa. My single-minded dream to catch up to my sister, even if it meant throwing Tanegashima away. That's why. Misa, stop! The spider's blades glimmer. They cut through Gunbuild 2's torso from both sides like scissors. Gunbuild 2's upper body shakes and leans forward. It makes a terrible sound, like iron twisting. The body then falls over onto the spider. The impact crushes the spider onto the ground before stopping. Misa. Misa! I rush over to the spider. I slip between its legs and crawl onto the torso. Somewhere, there must be a switch or something to open the pilot hatch somewhere. It's not long before I find what I'm looking for. I press the button and the hatch slides open, accompanied by the sound of compressed air leaking out. The inside is the unique standing cockpit. But unfortunately, even though I know I saw her climb inside, Misa is nowhere to be found. She had disappeared without a trace, as if she was never there to begin with. Aki-chan! Without anybody inside of it, the venue looks like a battlefield. The rampaging spider hug stopped a few minutes ago. And with the sound of destruction and chaos having faded from the expo arena, silence sets in. The giant robots that once stood proud in the building have been toppled over or destroyed. The colorful signs and booths from the exhibitors covered in dust and grime. Large pieces of rubble and wreckage from the busted ceiling litter the showroom floor. Sitting in front of the wreckage of Model 2 and the crushed spider hug is Akiho. She looks like she's in pain. Aki-chan, are you okay? Are you hurt? Her face is pale. She's clutching her chest and biting her lip. Did you have an attack? Akiho nods slightly. Part of me wants to scold her for running too much, but now's not the time for that. I want to be here for her, but evacuating takes priority. I know, who knows when more of the ceiling could collapse. Come on, grab on. I turn my back to Akiho and crouch down. I'll carry you. Akiho obediently but weakly clings to my back. I make sure I have a firm hold of her before standing up. Now then, where's the exit? Hey, Kai. Misa isn't here. She disappeared. What? I glance over at the spider hug. The cockpit hatch is open. Misane is nowhere to be found. I'd love to go looking for her right about now, but I wipe the idea from my mind and begin walking through the rubble. And Misa destroyed Gun Build 2. I can't. It's too awful. I saw everything. The spider hug rampaged its way through the venue, sparing nothing in its path. Akio booted up Model 2 in an attempt to stop it, but she was easily beaten. Misane destroyed the robot club's Akiho's robot. She showed no hesitation. She had no mercy. I would never have thought Misane to be capable of something like this. Misane loved robots more than me, more than even Akiho. But I didn't have time to think about that right now. Finally able to exit the expo arena with Akiho on my back. Outside, the throngs of people who evacuated have worried looks on their faces. It's a pretty huge crowd. I can hear the sirens of ambulances and fire engines in the distance. Looks like there are some folks with injuries. All over the place I can see people sitting and bleeding. There are also folks lying down. But more importantly, something is weird. What exactly? Well, everyone is looking up at the sky as if we were all struck up with the same idea. The sky. Don't tell me a solar disturbance is coming. That's not something you can see with the naked eye. I put Akio down and look upwards at the sky, imitating everyone else. What I find is something beyond my wildest imagination. What is that? It's a building I've never seen before. Actually, I hesitate to even call it that. Some kind of enormous pillar, maybe a tower. The thing I just suddenly appeared over the ocean in Odaiba. It's got to be at least a few hundred meters in diameter. I've never seen something this huge before. It stretches far up into the sky, so far that I can't see the top. Might even reach space. It's almost like a space elevator. The thought of it falling down comes to mind, which is enough to send a chill down my spine. I recognize the strange design from the base of the pillar. I saw that in the final episode of Gunbarrel. The bits and pieces that got leaked to the net. Among the scenes, I remember there being a similar gigantic pillar. The Grand Obelisk. Huh? It's the Grand Obelisk. Akio was looking up in awe at the pillar piercing the heavens. It's exactly the same as the final episode of Gunbarrel. That wasn't here yesterday, was it? Akio weakly shakes her head. Of course not. It's the space elevator from an anime. We could never build something like that with our current tech. Maybe in the near future, but not now. But how exactly did it get here? How was it built? Or are you saying it fell from the sky? Did aliens or something drop it into the Tokyo Bay? I checked the news 30 minutes ago, but there was nothing about any pillars. How could so many nonsensical things have happened since seeing Misane? I'm losing my mind. Hey, Aki-chan. What happens in the final episode of Gun Barrel again? I'm sure it's hard for her to talk after getting an attack, but I can't help but ask. A space elevator. The Grand Obelisk shoots the sun. She explains, and her face begins to go pale as she realizes the correlation between what she's saying and reality. The Earth is seared by a solar flare from the sun, and the enemy is destroyed along with everything else. Project Adam. Ah! The crowd begins to make noise. The Grand Obelisk starts shining ominously. On the surface, countless hieroglyphs pulsate, appearing and disappearing. The giant pillar almost feels like a living thing of some kind. A cold chill runs down my spine. Don't tell me. It's actually going to shoot. A strange sound begins to ring out around us. It's similar to the sound of the ground shaking, but the ground is completely still. The waves aren't choppy either. It's not an earthquake. Then is the Grand Obelisk making the air itself shake? The pillar begins to shine even more strongly. Right away, I grab a hold of Akio and shield her. The warnings in the Kimijima reports. The late final episode of Gun Barrel. Is it all coming true? Is this what Project Adam is? As tens of thousands of people look on, the pillar stretching out into space. Bursts with a flash of light so bright it can't be looked at directly, and the sky explodes into a rainbow of colors. Misaki Sanomiya, it's 3 p.m. We interrupt the scheduled programming with an emergency news report. Earlier today, at around 2:50 p.m., it appears that the Kanto region was hit with the largest solar disturbance in history. Currently, it seems most electronic devices in the region have been rendered unusable. It's possible that it also contains X-rays that could seriously affect your health. Those outside should seek shelter in a safe location. The footage shows the status of the sun, taken approximately 10 hours ago by NASA's Solar Dynamics Observatory. Countless giant solar flares can be seen emanating from the sun. The solar disturbance is predicted to be larger in scale than the ones from September 2015 or November of last year. Damage is expected not just in Japan, but in all parts of the world. We'll report more as info becomes available. We've just received more breaking news. According to info from the FDMA, a portion of the Odaiba district has collapsed and is in danger of sinking. Whether this was caused by the solar disturbance or not is presently unknown. This is current footage from the live camera in Odaiba. As you can see, the Metropolitan Expressway Bayshore route is completely submerged. The building in the distance is the Expo Arena for the in-progress Tokyo Expo. The roof is collapsed. With the Tokyo Expo being held in Odaiba, there were a large number of visitors at the venue today. We will now repeat this report. Today, at around 2:50 p.m., it appears that the Kanto region was hit by the largest solar disturbance in history. Wyvern, it's time to begin the operation. The final decision is go. Understood. Opening hatch. Wyvern to all forces, begin the operation. Phase 11. Plasma sphere transistor. It appears that massive blackouts have occurred in Tokyo, NYC, London, Toronto, Shanghai, and other major cities. Riots caused by the public are also occurring in LA, Rio de Janeiro, Cairo, Johannesburg, Amsterdam, Belfast. I think what I'm going to do here, everyone, is I'm going to take a pause. Just a pause. No big deal. Because it is, I have underestimated how tired I would be at this point. I will be back at around... I'm going to take a nap, and then I'll be back to finish recording this. So this is going to be the first recorded in multiple chunks, because it has already been an hour, and we've just entered phase 11, which means there's 3 hours left. Woof. BRB. Hello, everyone. I'm back. It's 9:33 a.m. Let's continue right where we left off. Riots caused by the public are also occurring in L.A., Rio de Janeiro, Johannesburg, Amsterdam, Belfast. This is unconfirmed, but there are reports of service robots going berserk in cities worldwide. New York City, Tokyo. According to the so-called Kimijima reports, it wouldn't be odd if we saw acts of terrorism in certain regions. I personally think that military and police organizations worldwide should be on high alert. There hasn't been much of this much simultaneous worldwide chaos since the crash of 15. Worst case scenario, we could be headed for a 21st century Great Depression. These disturbances aren't new, yet no one's learned their lesson. What the hell's the nation's leadership doing? It's currently unknown how many dead, wounded, and missing have resulted from this current catastrophe. Since the morning of the 25th until today, NASA has made 4 announcements on the abnormal activity of the sun. Presently, there have been at least 439 large-scale solar flares of X-class intensity. Massive solar disturbances moving 2,000 kilometers per second have been emitted in succession, arriving here one by one. Observed early yesterday morning, the U.S. government promptly sent the info to the governments of nations worldwide. However, when asked why such info was not released publicly beforehand, Chief Cabinet Secretary Yamanashi said, "It's deeply regrettable, and we're investigating the cause. Next. I'm live from Shinjuku Station. All lines of transportation have been suspended. People are stranded here. Employees here say most devices are working, but due to oddities, they are checking all systems for safety. We do not currently have an ETA on when everything will be restored. In 2 hours, most company employees will be leaving work, flooding the station. Further chaos is expected." Take a look at this footage from a live camera in Shiodome. Can you see the black smoke rising from Odaiba? Fujisan's TV headquarters is in Odaiba, but it's currently impossible to contact them. Also, according to info on the net, there were large explosions at the Tokyo Expo Odaiba venue. This could be an act of terror. For security purposes, the Rainbow Bridge in Odaiba has been sealed off. The Metro Expressway Bay Shore route has also been closed. The Yuri Kamo... All those places are closed. Breaking news, the U.S. has announced that VP Crane has been in a traffic accident. He's seriously injured. Details on the condition are unknown. It's under investigation due to the possibility of terrorism. I'm at the Tamagawa River in Tokyo's Setagaya ward. Look at this. Countless birds are falling out of the sky right into the river. You can see them make impact. Look out, we need to get out of here, it's dangerous. Matsuda-san, can you hear me? Matsuda-san. I swallow my breath as I watch the chaos unfold around the world on TV. It's then that there's a knock at my door. It's not mealtime, nor is it time to check my temperature. Whoever it is, they're not a nurse. Then who? I woke up here a little under a month ago. During all that time, aside from the doctor in charge of me and the nurses, only Kaito Yashio-san came to visit. Come in, I timidly reply. Maybe my missing mom heard about me and is here to visit, especially after seeing all the chaos. I stare straight at the door, waiting for it to open. But no matter how long I wait, the door doesn't open. That's strange. I know I felt the presence of someone on the other side of the door when I heard the knock. Suddenly scared, I hide under the covers. I put the blanket over me and close my eyes. If someone comes in, I'll just pretend to be asleep. I don't want to see anyone. I'll be here alone forever. I don't expect anything from anyone. A terrible chill runs down my spine. My eyes are closed, but I can tell. Right next to my bed, there's someone standing there. They're not saying anything, but I can just barely hear them breathing. When did they come inside? I didn't hear the sound of the door opening. It's only been a few seconds since I laid down in bed and closed my eyes. During that time, the person managed to open the sliding door, enter the room, and walk to the side of my bed. I want to open my eyes, but I also don't want to. I'm terrified. My body starts to quiver in fear. I clutch the sheets tightly. Who? Who is it? Why won't they talk? Why are they just standing there? I can't keep my eyes closed any longer. I have to see who's standing there. I have to. If not... Sorry, everyone. My heart will keep beating faster and faster until it explodes. I know what I have to do. Slowly and cautiously, I ever so slightly open my eyes. After exploding into a rainbow of colors, the sky is back to its normal pale blue color. The radiance that seemed like it could engulf the entire world has vanished from the giant grand obelisk. It all happened so quickly that it felt a bit anticlimactic. After the largest solar disturbance in history hit, I was fully set for Project Adam to begin in earnest after all. But I can't let my guard down just yet. We got hit just like the Kamijima report said we would. I checked Tweepo in the news, and it looks like the world is in chaos right now. The scale is clearly of a different magnitude from the one that hit Tokyo in November last year. If the Committee of 300 starts their terrorist plot now, there's nothing stopping them. Kokamijima's warning was right. He knew this would happen and gave us the time to prepare. But at the end of the day, there was almost no point in spreading the reports worldwide. It goddamn sucks. And it's true that I underestimated how bad this would get. I made the baseless assumption that the disturbance probably wouldn't arrive during the expo, despite Kokamijima constantly warning me otherwise. I treated the warning he gave his life for too lightly. Frau was right. I should have hidden on Tanegashima and prepared for all this, terrorism and assassins included. I see Misane's smiling face in the back of my mind. It was the same kind smile that we saw whenever she was on TV. Yet after finally seeing her after 7 years, that smile sends a chill down my spine. Was she smiling like that while preparing to commit an act of terrorism? Misane, what happened to you? I grit my teeth and look around. The people who evacuated the chaos of the expo venue are still unsettled, worried that something else will happen. The park is filled with people, not just expo visitors, but also people visiting in general. Tens of thousands of people. Among them, some are injured. There are people sitting down, bleeding. It's been nearly an hour since the expo arena fell into chaos, but there's no sign of police or ambulances. Before the solar disturbance hit, I know for a fact that I heard sirens approaching. I know I did. Where did they go? And then there are the power outages. Lights are out all over Odaiba. Tokyo's suffering from yet another massive blackout. It's fine since it's still the middle of the day, but when things get dark, crap. Hey, why won't my phone connect? Shit, even 911 is no good. We can't call for ambulances. I can hear people chatting amongst themselves. It's been like this for nearly an hour. That's right, phones don't work. If general phone lines and internet phone lines are both overloaded, that's a pretty abnormal situation. That's why I haven't been able to get in touch with Mitchie or Mr. Candy. Everything about this situation is irritating. Can't do jack right now, which means all I can do is think about how bad things are. I click my tongue and crouch down on the spot. I sit down in the cold ground off to the edge of the road. Right in front of me, Akio sits clutching her knees with a vacant expression on her face. She's totally shut down. I've been trying to talk to her, but she doesn't respond. I tried to stand her up, but she just weakly shook her head like she was saying no. I can't blame her. Misane did something awful to her. Her dream to enter the expo and show off her club's robot was crushed in less than a week by her own beloved sister. Akio's not the only one she trampled over. Misane stepped all over me and Mizuka-san too. I won't let her get away with this. I don't want to believe that she's capable of this. Both of these feelings swirl within me. I'm getting so worked up that I can't help but clutch myself. God damn it, I'm trembling in everything. How pathetic. The Expo Arena terrorism. When it all went down, all I could do was watch in stunned silence, paralyzed. In retrospect, it terrifies me how helpless I was in the midst of all that destruction. One wrong step and I could have died on the spot. The despair I felt in that moment lingers with me even now. The intense shockwaves hitting my body. The screams of fleeing people only further amplifying the fear. The physically revolting appearance of that six-legged giant spider wriggling after Akiho. I'm surprised I survived. And it's even more of a miracle that Akiho made it out unharmed. She recklessly tried to use Model 2 to stop Misane. If it wasn't her sister, she probably would have been killed. The former Madam President is too goddamn reckless. If Akiho died, just imagining it makes my chest hurt more than imagining my own death. I can't even imagine my life without Akiho around. She's always been with me. I bet it's similar to the feeling of having a twin. It's not a matter of whether I like or dislike her. She's just there. She's a constant. Losing Akiho is the one thing I don't want to imagine. I grind my teeth. I shouldn't think about that right now. My mental state isn't doing so great. Yo, Kaito-kun, Akio-chan. I'm startled back to reality. I raise my head toward the voice only to find Mr. Candy stomping over to us and waving his hand. His voice and physique are large, so he stands out even amidst the sea of people. President! I'm glad you two are safe. I was worried. Just seeing a face I know puts me at ease. I can feel the string of tension within me loosen a little. Likewise, sir. Boing-chan! And you too, parakeet. Wait, he actually brought his bird to Tokyo? Everything went down just as I got to Odaiba via taxi. I've been wandering around looking for you guys ever since. Where's Mitsuhiko? He's missing. You can't get in touch with him? I tried calling him a few times, but it won't connect. Just what I'd expect from our guardian. More importantly, have you guys checked the internet? They're freaking out about how some part of Odaiba collapsed or something. My word, what gobbledygook. It's gotta be fake. Info is probably getting all jumbled because of electronic devices are dead. Still pretty sad that the mass media can't tell the difference. Electronic devices are dead, you say? About that, Kaito, don't you think it's strange? My phone droid is perfectly fine. Wait, what? Mr. Candy's comment hits me like a ton of bricks. He's exactly right. Hell, I saw the news about Odaiba collapsing on my own phone droid. I can see Tweepo like normal. I can post and everything. It's just the phone lines that aren't connecting. Is it because of the power outages? What's going on? Last year when the disturbance hit, I heard that phone droids were completely useless. The whole thing doesn't sit right with me. It's like someone's pulled the wool over our eyes. Oh, and I used Street View function in Eaterwo to look around earlier, right? It was all really strange. How so? Take a look for yourself. I immediately boot up Eaterwo on my phone droid. Whoa, what the heck is this? Within the world of Eaterwo, Odaiba is a literal war zone. Roads are submerged and everything. The Expo Arena, Fujisan TV, and other buildings have been destroyed. Bridges have collapsed and wreckage is all over. Everything but the current state of the Expo Arena is totally fabricated. This isn't reality. The Odaiba that exists on the internet right now is nothing more than a lie. This is real bad. Pretty elaborate, isn't it? Who would be capable of doing such a thing? Anyone can post images to Eaterwo after registering. There have been fake images like this uploaded before. When that happens, other users will report it and the administrators will erase it. Is this another example of that? Maybe the administration isn't functioning due to all the chaos, so the fake images have been left up or something? These fake images of destruction might be the source of the fake news. The mass media took it as reality and hysterically started reporting on it, spreading the misinformation. Did nobody doubt what they were seeing? Or is it more propaganda? The thought appears in the back of my mind. It's possible that the Tavistock Institute is manufacturing and spreading propaganda worldwide. In that case, has Project Adam already begun? What's the situation in other areas? Tokyo has a lot of robots. I didn't notice it that much after staying here 10 days, but I felt it particularly strongly today. You know, this city is swarming with robots and all. He's right. There are a lot of robots. I thought as much when I came last year. There are life-size service robots all over. They're what caused the robot insurrection last November. Even the recently opened Aqualiner has a service robot sitting in its driver's seat. Despite the Yuri Kamone automatic traffic system being in service for over 15 years without drivers or robots, the Aqualiner went in the opposite direction. The Metro Expressway Bayside route has robots standing at the toll booths, and guidance robots populate Odaiba. This was all done with the express purpose of promoting the expo. It said as much in the expo pamphlet. To appeal to the public that it was the robot expo, Tokyo spent tax money to promote the spread of service robots. Actually, that reminds me, I haven't seen a single robot since everything went down 30 minutes ago. After last November, all of them should be equipped with solar disturbance countermeasures. Did they stop working because of the power outage? Or wait, don't tell me. The robot's going out of control again? Nope, I didn't see a single person getting attacked. That said, the station was closed off. Robots were there guiding people along. Robots were also closing off the exit for the parkade so nobody could get their cars out. Same for the Rainbow Bridge entrance. The robots were explaining that it's too dangerous for passage. It's like the robots have sealed us in. It's kind of creepy. I must be overthinking it though. Show me the boings, boings. Why is he laughing? This is literally no laughing matter. How long can these robots function with the power out? I'm pretty sure they need to be charged at regular intervals. More importantly, what's with the huge pillar? Apparently it's the Grand Obelisk. Is it real? As far as I can tell, it's not an illusion. Maybe we should get closer to its base. I want to take a look. I don't know, seems pretty far away. Also, it sprouted from the middle of Tokyo Bay. You'd have to swim to get close. President, can you stay here and watch Aki-chan for a little while? Sure, I don't mind, but where are you off to? I'm just gonna take a look around. I see. Be careful. Don't do anything dangerous. I nod, then turn to Akiho. Aki-chan, I'll be right back, so wait here with the president. Akiho weakly raises her head. She looks up at me with begging eyes and grabs my hand. Kai, stay here. No worries, I'll be right back, I promise. I gently let go of her trembling hand and stand up. I leave Akio behind and make my way to the expo arena. The scars of destruction are fresh. You can tell how much of a tragedy has befallen this place even from the outside. I've been wondering for a while now what Akio said after the spider hug destroyed Model 2. Misa isn't here. She disappeared. I have no clue where Misane ran off to, but I have to look for her. I need to find her and press her for the truth. It's possible that the roof could collapse further, but I don't have the luxury of being scared. Misane might still be hiding inside. I need to go. She might be long gone by now, but this is the only place within reach I can search. Even in the corridor, parts of the walls are broken, chunks of rubble strewn about. The venue is completely deserted, as if the hustle and bustle from a few hours ago was just a lie. Huh? I hear something from behind a pillar. Someone's here. I quietly peek out. It's him! Toshiyuki Sawada. He sits with his back to the wall. He's not moving. We parted ways when Misane's spider hug started its rampage. He's been here the whole time. There are devices I've never seen scattered about at his feet. What are those things? I grit my teeth. I need to know who he really is. The section chief of Exoskeleton Company's hug testing department. Misane's superior, a man with connections to the Tavistock Institute. But earlier today, he pointed a gun at Misane. Was he trying to stop her before she committed her act of terrorism? Or was it just infighting? Let's do this. I swallow my breath. Then check to feel the hard object under my clothes. I still have the gun I took from him earlier. Akiho Pav. As I sit on the ground clutching my knees, my butt gets cold. The inside of the expo arena had AC, but due to all the body heat coming off the guests, it wasn't that cool. I only just realized it for the first time since coming here. Tokyo is a cold, cold place. I haven't been able to stop trembling for a while. But is that really because I'm actually cold? Or is it because of what happened? It doesn't really matter. I try to brush off my doubt by holding onto my body. I should have brought a pocket heater or something. All of our time spent in the hotel in the expo arena, so I'm not even wearing a proper jacket. My outfit's fine for Tanegashima, but it's way too light for Tokyo in February. I can tell by looking at the people around me. Unlike me, they're pretty bundled up. None of the girls have their legs exposed. The only warm thing I have on me is the little darkened fink in my hand. Misa made it for me 10 years ago. It's one of my friends. Holding it makes me feel a little at ease, but the peace of mind is temporary at best. Suddenly I remember the warmth of my sister's hand when she would hold mine. After the MF Anemone incident, when I woke up from a 3-day-long coma, Misa was there with me. Aki, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. When she realized I had woken up, tears started falling from her eyes onto my cheeks. I can still remember how hot those tears were. I thought you would never wake up again. Thank goodness. Misa? That must have been terrible. I'm so proud of you for staying strong. To be honest, I don't really remember anything. Right, I'm sure you weren't conscious after all. But you know, for 3 days you were gone. I was so lonely. It was like all the color faded from my world. Mom later informed me that Misa sat by my side the entire time, holding my hand tightly and talking to me. Kai was also unconscious the whole time, which means she left him alone. I kind of felt bad about that. Granted, he wasn't all alone. His mom and dad were there with him. If you never woke up, I would have stayed here holding your hand for the rest of my life. Thank you for waking me up. Thank you so much, Aki. I love you so much. Hearing those words from Misa made me happier than I can put into words. I can't remember a time that I was more happy to have her as my older sister. I love you too, Misa. I know. But in retrospect, I think that was the turning point. After that incident, Misa began to grow distant. While at home, she was always on edge. She had an aura that made it hard to talk to her. No matter what you do, you'll always be average, Aki. Those were the words Misa left me with before she left the island. Aki. You've grown. Our smile was the same, or at least it should have been. Aki. Her gentle demeanor hadn't changed at all, or at least it shouldn't have. Has the rocket been launched yet? I thought it'd be like we were never apart, that we'd chat for hours and hours. I finally caught up to Misa. I finally fulfilled my dream. I expected her to praise me for all my hard work. I'm not amazing like my sister. But as an ordinary person, I thought I could hold my head up high, proudly proclaim that I gave it my all. I thought I'd be able to say at least that much. Right before my very eyes, Misa, she took gun build too. I don't understand. Don't understand anything. It was always me trying to get in touch with her. She never answered me, never replied, never came back to the island to visit. Apparently she stayed in touch with Mizuka-san, but me? She was avoiding me. I must have been nothing but a bother to her. I relied too much on her, and now she's done with me. Oh man. This must all be my fault for getting too excited about our reunion. Wants a dumb, overly excited little sister like me, right? I'm just in the way. On top of that, I did it right before her important demonstration in front of a huge audience. It only makes sense that she'd abandon me for not being able to read the room. It's natural. My vision goes blurry. I wipe away the tears swelling in my hands. I'm tired of everything. No matter how much I spin my wheels and single-mindedly charge forward, I understand that it's all for nothing. I'm done. Done with making calls that'll never be answered. Done with sending messages that'll never get replies. Done with admiring my cool and kind big sister that everyone calls a prodigy. I'm done with it all. Every time. I was so nervous when I tried to call Misa. I struggled with it for minutes, hours, before finally getting the courage to hit the button. I'll call even though deep inside I was hoping she wouldn't answer. And yet, when she really didn't answer, I'd feel like crying anyways. All alone, I'd repeated the process for 7 years after she left the island. I'm an idiot. I really am an idiot. She was just avoiding me the whole time. Misa never saw me as anything but a pain in her butt. All the tears I've been holding back threatened to come bursting out. I raise my head and try to hold them back. I look around. Mr. Candy is standing nearby, furiously operating his phone droid with his big hands. Kai. Hey, where are you? No matter how much I search, I can't find him. My childhood friend, the boy that I love so much. He released his hands from mine earlier, but where did he go? Kai, hurry back. I wonder what Kai thinks of me. When the robot club was disbanded, he made that promise to me. Is it okay for me to believe him? Don't move! The gun I point at Swada is trembling pathetically. I'm normally completely calm and composed when I play Kill Ballad online, but this is a completely different story. I can feel the gun in my hand, its weight. It looks just like a toy, but it's quite heavy. Shit, if I give him an opening, I'm asking for it. Just thinking of that is enough to make me feel anxious. Oh, it's just you. Swada says against the wall, making no attempt to move. Even with a gun pointed at him, he shows no intent to flee. Looks like you're hurt. His left leg is covered in blood. Blood is soaked into his suit, darkening it. Blame that on Sinomia going wild. You don't need to point that thing at me. I never intended on hurting you anyways. I slowly lower the gun. As I go to put it back into my pocket. Switch the safety on. You don't want that thing accidentally discharging. The safety? I look at the gun to find something that resembles a switch, but I'm unsure. I shoot Sawada a look. He gently nods, so I flip the switch to on and stuff the gun back in my pocket. The ambulances aren't coming, so we can't treat your wounds. Sorry. Don't worry about me. I performed emergency treatment myself, by which I mean I stopped the bleeding. Despite being injured, Swada is oddly calm. Man, this guy has no weaknesses. It's kind of irritating, but whatever. I glance at the devices on the floor nearby. As far as I can tell, they're metal boxes. Each is about the same size as a thick dictionary. The letters NIV are written on the surfaces. There are 4 of them strewn about, 3 of which have been dismantled with the circuit boards and cords removed. What are these? The weapon of silence. You'd say it's the source of that magic. What do you mean? You live on Tanegashima, right? You're the one who found the Kamijimi reports and spread them worldwide. You should already know. I can't help but swallow my breath. How did you know it was me? I haven't even been identified on the internet yet. I've been monitoring you ever since I first saw you at Robo 1. Why? I suppose you could say I was doing a follow-up investigation on the test subjects. As usual, I can't follow what he's saying. Despite my own confusion, I can't let a certain set of words slip by unnoticed. Are you saying I'm a test subject? What did you do to me? I've done nothing to you. Nothing at all. Then it was electromagnetic irradiation. What? You were involved in an electromagnetic irradiation experiment. That's what I'm saying. Electromagnetic radiation experiment. Then it suddenly hits me. In my 18 years of life, there's only one event that could fit that description. The MF anemone. These devices on the floor are the same as the ones used back then. There were several of them placed around the venue. Most likely not just here. They're probably hidden all over Odaiba. Wait, hold on. Slow down. You're just dropping all these revelations and I can't keep up. What do you mean electromagnetic radiation equipment? What's happening? What would hiding them? It's magic. Do you not see it? The giant tower sprouting out of the sea? You mean the Grand Obelisk? Every person in Odaiba can see it with their own 2 eyes. But don't be fooled, it's only an illusion. It's like AR that can be seen with the naked eye. Huh? I'm actually surprised you didn't catch on already. Do you really think a structure of that scale could be constructed in a matter of hours? It's as though he's reading my mind. He's right that I had questions about that, but I didn't dig deeper. Didn't even try to. How is it possible for everyone to see the same illusion? That's what these devices are for. Sawada glances over at the boxes on the floor. Devices that emit electromagnetic waves in order to show illusions to the masses. Something like that was written in the Kamijima reports. He said the Tavistock Institute was doing research into the tech. But I didn't see any illusions in the MF anemone. In fact, all it did was leave me with these weird attacks. I heard about the data on those devices. I heard the data was lost on... Blah. I heard the data on those devices was lost 10 years ago. During the Shibuya earthquake. Shibuya earthquake. Thus, it's highly possible that the experiment on the MF anemone used an incomplete version of the tech. Are you telling me that Aki-chan and I were just human test subjects? That's what I've been saying from the start. And it was you that... Don't misunderstand, I already told you, I didn't carry out the experiment. I hold back my urge to shout in rage. You're not from the Committee of 300? How much do you know about me? Ugh, he answered my question with a question. Just that your father is a special advisor at Tavistock. Heh, I see. Sawada makes what sounds like a self-deprecating laugh before shooting a sharp look at me. Then, without answering my question, Hidden Hand. His whisper sends a chill down my spine. That word again. The invisible hand of God. And Kagame Kagame. Both are keywords related to the Illuminati. Did you realize that? The Illuminati? A secret society that has existed for over 200 years. That works for the Committee of 300. Seriously? It said that Kagame Kagame is a metaphor for the Star of David. Wait, but Kagame Kagame is a Japanese children's song. I told you, they've existed for over 200 years. Both the Committee of 300 and the Illuminati were established in the 1700s. Japan was still in the middle of the Edo period at the time. It makes sense that the invisible rulers have spread their tentacles into the Far East, the Golden Land, so to speak. That it's the Committee of 300 that makes everyone's phone droids play Kagame Kagame at the same time? My current theory is that it's a signal to start an experiment. Experiment. You said that word again. Right now we're being shown a false reality on a planetary scale. You could call it propaganda, though it's much stronger than brainwashing. They're basically bending reality. At this very moment, people's realities are being twisted. It's propaganda in real time. An artificial paradigm shift caused by manipulating information. All the experiments so far were carried out in service of today. This is the harbinger of Project Adam. Project Adam. What could manipulating information accomplish? The info that Odaiba collapsed will be exposed as the lie that it is within the day. Then what? Something like this can't exterminate billions of people. Do you know what caused the global chaos in only a few hours' time? Sawada immediately changes the subject. Solar disturbance, right? The largest ever. Stronger than the crash of 15. Electronic devices can't be used, yeah? Guess what? There's been no solar disturbance. What? What's he saying? But NASA publicized the data and the mass media reported on. NASA's been under the committee's thumb since it was founded. The mass media is also no exception. They're the vanguard of information and manipulation. There's been no disturbance? Nope. Yeah, the world is in chaos over the false info. This is the fabricated reality brought on by propaganda. You're experiencing it at this very moment. The light emitted by that giant pillar, the sky erupting into colors, the media freaking out over Odaiba's collapse. And yet here we are, having a normal conversation. We can even use our phone droids just fine. A fabricated reality. Normally, nobody would buy that Odaiba's collapsed. Thanks to the spread of phone droids and Itaro, the entire world easily bought into this fabrication. To the people of the world, Itaro is now more real than reality itself. If images of a collapsed Odaiba are uploaded to Iruo, even if only half the users believe what they see, that's over 1 billion people. If that many people believe something, it shakes reality. That's how ambiguous the info shared between people is. Fabricated information can easily take the place of reality. Just look at human history. History is always written by the victors. That also applies to this very day. You make it sound like phone droids and Iruo are involved in this whole conspiracy. That seems like too much of a leap. If you go that far, you might as well say that every consumer product in the world is part of this master plan. Then is the robot boom also part of the propaganda? That's right. I was being facetious, but Sawada quickly replies and smiles. Do you not find it unnatural how the gun barrel anime became such a worldwide hit? How the robot boom just exploded? There have been countless robot anime over the years. Why would that one become some uniquely gigantic super hit? Is he claiming that its popularity was manipulated? I mean, you can just chalk it up to good advertising, right? And the robot boom is even more conspicuously unnatural than gun barrel. After all, bipedal robots are a piece of culture that was specifically cultivated in Japan. It's a niche field of research in the rest of the world. Even America went with 4- or 6-legged robots. Companies don't operate on dreams, yet in only a few years, bipedal robot research exploded worldwide. The committee was obviously at work behind the scenes. There's evidence that vast sums of money being moved around. Why would the Committee of 300 push for robot development? To make Project Mars a reality. After Project Adam, there'd be 1 billion people left. Bipedal robot tech would be needed to maintain society. Regardless, the committee's only goal right now is the successful execution of Project Adam. I'm confident the next day is within the next few days. Which means these next few days will decide the fates of 5 billion people. Hidaka POV. The wind is more humid than usual. The sky is overcast with dark clouds. Looks like it's gonna rain. Expecting that, I click my tongue. If it was gonna rain, I shouldn't have come out on the boat. I usually don't go out at sea at this hour. I go fishing well before sunrise, and I'm back in the harbor before noon. That's why I'm always at home in the afternoon or out drinking with friends. It's been the rhythm of my life ever since I became a fisherman 20 years ago. I didn't really break that rhythm to go out and sea in the afternoon for fishing. The reason I'm out here is because I get emotional when I'm home with my son. I plan to go home after fishing off the coast for 2 hours. I've been doing this about 3 times a week lately. A month ago, my son had an accident while working on a giant robot. His legs are still being treated. He's undergoing rehab at the hospital. They're still unsure if he'll ever walk normally again without crutches. I forbade him not once, but twice to work on robots. When I heard he still hadn't learned his lesson, well, I considered disowning him. There's that saying, right? 3 strikes, you're out. He was injured as a consequence of his own actions. He has no respect for his father. He went sneaking around behind my back not once but twice. I trusted him and tried my best not to step on his toes after forbidding him from such things last summer. He made me look like a damn fool. In the end, not only was he badly injured, he even caused trouble for others. One wrong move and he could have died. I'm his father. It makes sense that I wouldn't just let him do as he pleases. Why robots of all things? Nearly unconsciously, I muttered to myself. I'm surprised by my own words. Why robots of all things? Am I lamenting my son's interests? Or am I questioning myself for hating robots so much? Seriously, why robots of all things? Maybe I'm just hard-headed. I never cared about robots to begin with. But when my son got into them and refused to listen to me, I couldn't just leave it be. The hanging fishing line hasn't moved for nearly an hour. Unlike when I usually go fishing, I haven't managed to catch anything decent. Never had much interest in angling, so you could say I'm unaccustomed to it. But I don't care about catching anything, quite frankly. Lately, my son just travels between his room and the hospital. He remains quiet during meals. He keeps his emotions below the surface. Even if I yell at him, he just sits there and quietly looks down. It's as though he's lost all passion for living, like he's just going through the paces. I never thought he'd be so stubborn over giving up robots. Did I screw this up? I do my best to convince myself otherwise and dispel the thought. When I sigh, a cold droplet of water collides with my cheek. It's starting to rain. Looks like a good time to head home. Pull up my fishing line and make preparations to withdraw. It's then that I happen to see something in the corner of my eye. Something's flying in the air. Is it a bird? This far off the coast? I raise my head, puzzled, and doubt my own eyes. There. Robots. Countless black humanoid robots blanket the sky. What the hell is this? Where did they come from? There was no trace of them just moments earlier. All I can do is swallow loudly as I gaze up at the bizarre sight. The end of the world. The thought runs across my mind. The final goal of Project Adam is to interfere with the sun's activity and artificially cause a solar disturbance. The method is written in detail in the Kamijima reports. Of course, you would know that. Gases and plasma carried by the sun cause a disturbance from an ultra-high-speed jet which collides with our magnetosphere. This can potentially cause a magnetic realignment phenomenon called magnetosphere substorm. They want to artificially produce one of those. He's right. That's what's written in the reports. It'd make a solar disturbance look like a party. As an extreme example, it'd be like the Earth was scorched by a solar flare. However, the specific method of doing this was intentionally left out of the Kamijima reports. Maybe Kamijima just didn't know the specifics. Stretch. No. Sawada sighs lightly. It's like he's tired of dealing with someone who doesn't understand. What does he expect from a rural high school student? 4 months ago, a certain item was stolen by someone from CERN. CERN? The European Organization for Nuclear Research, located on the border of Switzerland and France. It's possible that certain stolen item was a weapon developed in absolute secrecy. A BHB. A black hole bomb. Can we talk about the name for a second? Is this certain place a facility for building bombs? No, but there have been shady rumors surrounding it ever since it was established. I received info from friends that it's operated by the committee. They even tried to build a time machine once. A time machine? Come on, this isn't some trashy novel. Anyways, about the BHB. Once detonated, it creates a miniature black hole that absorbs everything around it. Nuclear weapons don't even compare in terms of instantaneous explosive energy. This isn't something that humanity should have access to. We've entered the realm of gods. We're going to use that to kill everyone? But I doubt something like that would cause a magnetosphere substorm. That's right, exploding it on the surface would only annihilate an area about the size of the Kanto region. Only? They're planning something far worse and more efficient. They're aiming to detonate the BHB in space, not on the surface. I see. They'll use the BHB to reproduce a solar disturbance hitting Earth's magnetosphere. It's a place known as the Flashpoint, a position right between Earth and the Moon, about 130,000 kilometers from Earth. That's where the disturbance and the Earth's magnetosphere collide. By detonating a BHB, It's virtually guaranteed to generate a copy of Final Fantasy VII. It would hit the entirety of Earth and likely kill 5 billion people as stated in the Kimijima reports. I swallow my breath. It may also result in monopoles raining down on the planet, just like at the park near your house. You even knew about that? These countless monopoles would be managed by the committee and humanity would enter a new industrial revolution. That's all part of the planned scenario for Project Adam. The chaos right now is basically a distraction so that they can launch the BHB into space. But how and from where? I have no clue how heavy that thing is. But if it can cause a ridiculous calamity that affects the entire planet, it'd have to be pretty big, right? I doubt it'd be something easy to carry around. And with our current level of technology, we only have one way of sending stuff into space. Gotta put it on a rocket. The puzzle pieces in my head start falling into place, taking the shape of a black rocket. Wait, the rocket being assembled at the TNSC right now is going to be used to... You've got a good head on ya. I wasn't sure until Sonomiya stabbed me in the back, but I am now. They're planning on launching the BHB from Tanegashima. Misaki Pav. By the time I enter the chief's office, things are already over. Misaki, but why? Site chief of the Tanegashima Space Center, Kenichiro Sonomiya, sees my face and widens his eyes. 4 of my comrades have guns pushed up against him. He's standing frozen in front of his table. On top of the said table is a single teacup and some snacks. I look at them and can't help but form a self-deprecating smile. Hi, Dad. Sorry, but we have to restrain you. Who would have thought that this would be our first exchange in so many years? Certainly didn't expect this when I left the island 7 years ago. Even if it was inevitable. As far as missions go, the assault on Tanegashima Space Center was an easy one. It's not a military facility, so the security in place might as well be decoration. They stood no chance against my Kaminagi, or the 12 armed soldiers equipped with black military hugs that came with me. We made a showy and imposing landing on the coast, and within 10 minutes of issuing our warning, everyone fled. If they resisted, they would have had to go through the trouble of going around and killing everyone. It's far more efficient for them to flee like they did. It doesn't matter that they escaped. All means of communication between the island and the mainland have been severed. No ships or aircraft will be leaving. Even if they leave by private boat and seek help from the JSDF in Okinawa, they won't be able to do anything. But while we let everyone escape, my dad, the site chief, stayed behind. Let me guess, you stayed here as chief to buy everyone enough time to escape? Noble, certainly. But that's what people refer to as dying in vain. Why are you doing this? It seems that Dad has forgotten that there are guns being pointed at him. He tries to draw closer to me, a dumbfounded expression on his face. I click my tongue and press my handgun against his head. Don't move. If you move, I will kill you. Dad stops in his tracks. Can you just explain what's going on? What is all of this? You have no need to know. Is the rocket assembly complete? Yeah, it's done, but we'll be making use of it. Right now, the launch sites around the world are preparing for rocket launches. It's a total coincidence. Due to info about the high chance of a solar disturbance hitting in 2019, rocket launches worldwide got delayed. Then in November of last year, the disturbance arrived as expected. After that, countries all over started making launch preparations, so the timing ended up lining up. Tanegashima is no exception. The private company that requested this launch placed their order after Earth got hit. It was perfectly on target. Simply put, we got to pick whatever launch site we wanted. The BHB is now in our hands. We brought it ashore with us, and we can put the payload on board any time. To load the goods, we even brought a man brought in a man involved in rocket assembly work for NASA. He can finish the work in little over a day. X hour for launch will likely be the day after tomorrow at noon. What's your goal? That rocket is the crux of Project Adam. Anyone who attempts to get in the way of this launch will be shown no mercy. Wait, you're going to use it to commit an act of terrorism? You're going to smear Japan's space development program with blood. Misaki, when did you change? When did you become like this? You were never this kind of person who could do something like this. You loved robots, loved watching rocket launches. You were a kind girl. Yet you're going to use the TNSC, a place your father is so proud of, to commit terrorism? That's right. Noticing how weakly he's trying to argue with me, I reply with cold words. I want him to shut up. Hell, he's slumped on the ground, shoulders dropped. And yet he's still trying to lecture me. Why here of all places? Don't you remember, Misaki? This island is your home. I know it is. But do you want to know why we picked this place? It's because I just so happen to be your daughter. That's all. It wasn't out of resentment. It was just the easiest option. That's it. I've never been to launch sites in America or Russia. I am, however, familiar with the TNSC, so very close to home. Are you really Misaki? I don't want to continue this conversation. I give my 4 comrades the signal and they proceed to restrain Dad. I'm sorry, Dad, but you're going to be held captive for a bit. Don't worry, we won't kill you. You'll be released right after the plan is complete. That said, if things go as planned, 5 billion people will be dead. You and I might not make it. Misaki, stop this! Stop it! Rockets must be used for peaceful purposes. That's the spirit of JAXA. You've watched me ever since you were a child, so you know that, right? Please, don't use that rocket for something so awful. Misaki, listen to me, please. Dad continues to try to appeal to me, so I draw close to him. Stop struggling. It's unsightly. Ugh. I thrust my fist into Dad's stomach. Was he always such a small person? Has he thinned out over the last 7 years? I want to ask if he's eating properly, but that's personal business, so I decide not to. His dad groans in pain. My comrades drag him out of the room. Left alone in the chief's office, I take a look around. On Dad's desk is a Fink toy. Several months before graduating high school, I made one for everyone in the family. I reach out my fingers towards it, but the moment I'm about to touch it, my phone droid begins to ring. I left video chat on for the mission. I open my phone droid and unmute it. There's no image, it's voice only. This is Priest 1. Arrived at Point Beta, starting takeover operation. Understood. Point Alpha is under control. I look outside the window. Dark clouds float through the sky. They look like they could start unleashing their payload of rain at any moment. I hate the rain. When it rains, rockets can't be launched after all. When it would start raining near a scheduled launch day, my usually calm dad would get edgy. I didn't like it. If the launch got delayed, nobody would be able to talk to him. So whenever a launch drew near, Aki and I would make little Teru Teru Bozu dolls together. Let's just say that nobody on Tadagashima could compete with our Teru Teru Bozu crafting skills. Don't get sentimental, Misaki. I'm probably acting like this because even after 7 years, nothing has changed. What's the weather report for the day after tomorrow? I speak out to no one in particular. There's nobody in the room but me right now. Or so I thought. The weather for the day after tomorrow, February 28th, for the Tanegashima region of Yakushima, should be sunny. Same forecast as when I checked earlier. It's gonna rain tomorrow, but the day after will be sunny and clear. There's a 10% chance of precipitation. I hate weather reports even more. The center of my head starts throbbing in pain. I can't help but grip my forehead as I grip my teeth. So you're still standing there, even now, Gejine. In the back of my mind, I have flashbacks of that day. It was terribly hot and humid summer night. The night sky was bright, as if the sun itself was out. I was covered in sweat. Gejine, not Irie, looked at me emotionlessly. She just quietly looked at me. Everything was decided on that day 9 years ago. It was that day that it was the day that I was possessed, contaminated. Alright, everybody. I'm gonna go ahead and take another quick break, because it's been another hour. I can go ahead and overwrite this. And then I will be back instantly for you guys. BRB. Alright, I have taken about a half an hour break. We're back, gamers. Did you know that as of today, a major rocket launch sites worldwide have launches scheduled for this week? What? Not just the TNSC? Cape Canaveral, and Tanegashima, Japan. This is the first in history for space development. There's never been this many at once before. Are you saying it was planned? No, actually, this was a total coincidence. It's thanks to last year's solar disturbance. But they also eyed this coincidence. At first, we were suspicious that they were behind the scheduled launches at these 5 locations. But no matter how much we investigated, there was no evidence. The rockets were all too clean. So we made an educated guess that they would hijack one of these rockets just before launch. We were trying to narrow down which of the locations they would use, but Sonomiya's actions today made it clear. They intend to use Tanegashima. I'm sure the BHB is on the island right now. A chill runs down my spine. A bomb powerful enough to wipe out the entire Kanto region is on the island. If that's true, if it explodes on the surface due to some mistake, the entire island would vanish from the face of the earth. Mom, Dad, and everyone I know is on that island. All of the former members of the Robot Club are in danger. Frau, Juna, and Subaru. Everyone at JAXA was so happy they were getting to launch a rocket again. The Tanegashima Space Center is likely in the hands of the enemy now. We need to call the police. No, the police isn't enough. We need the JSDF to deploy and... It's pointless. It's already too late. What do you mean? Right now, information throughout the world is either being blocked or fabricated. In a situation like this, even if we asked the government to stop the launch, the JSDF wouldn't deploy. The same goes for the US forces in Japan. It's total chaos. We probably wouldn't even be able to connect, and even if we did, they'd think it was a prank. I actually did try directly calling the JSDF base, but they refused to listen. They're loading a black hole bomb onto a rocket in order to launch it into space. Of course, nobody would ever take that seriously. It'd be impossible to get anyone to believe something so crazy. I've met the current administration's Minister of Defense multiple times, so I tried calling him. No luck. Our only option is to intervene directly. But we're way too far from the island. I could arrange for a charter plane from Haneda, but I have no way of getting in contact with them. All planes are grounded. The train lines have all been stopped. The highways are apparently totally gridlocked. A ship would take too much time. There's no way to travel from Tokyo to Tanegashima in a short period of time. Was this the Committee of 300's goal all along? Is Misaki Sonomiya the ringleader? Sawada glances at my face. The guy hasn't attempted to smile even once. There's no doubting it. The fact that he sounded a little apologetic only further irritates me. What do you know about Misane? Why would she do something like this? The way she acted earlier was weird. She should have been piloting that spider hug, but she vanished without a trace. The bullet you shot at her didn't even leave a scratch. It's like It's like she was just a ghost. Hey, was that even really Misane? I think what we saw earlier was similar to the space elevator sitting over the ocean. A kind of illusion. Or maybe it's easier to understand if I said it's like an AR annotation that can be seen with the naked eye. The specifics were written in the Kamijima reports. My guess is that it's another application of VR tech. Everything she said to you was likely programmed as well. She was designed to make it look like she boarded Sumeragi. Why go through all that trouble? I'm wondering that myself. A Sumeragi can't be directly equipped by a human. What did he say? It's designed for someone already equipped with a hug. Only a person wearing a special hug called Kaminagi can equip Sumeragi. Kaminagi is classified as a pilot-type hug. It stands about 5 meters tall. 5 meters. What does he mean by pilot-type? Can't even visualize what it'd look like. The cockpit of Sumeragi was designed for Kaminagi to ride inside of it. But they said it has a finger-whatever system, so it can be controlled with only the pilot's fingers. The piloting is done using the FOS, but Sumeragi is still just a concept model. It was developed as a set with Kaminagi. That's the reason. It has no versatility right now. It wouldn't recognize anyone not wearing Kaminagi. It wouldn't boot up. It wasn't even connected to the network in the venue. It's a completely standalone system. The other possibility that I can think of is that Sinomia's comrades were among the venue staff. They could have messed with its programming in order to make it go out of control. Either way. The only reason I can think of as to why they'd show Sinomia getting inside is some sick form of self-indulgence. It was both a diversion and a way of taunting me for knowing nothing. And poor Akio had to suffer the most as a result. Then where is she? The real Misane? Did she actually die years ago and she's been kept alive as an AR annotation or something? Please tell me that's not true. I consider the possibility that she only exists on the net like Irie and I get chills. The Misane that I always looked up to. The Misane who Akiho loves. I don't want to believe that this is possible. But it's true that I haven't seen her in person in 7 years. I have no evidence that she's still alive. At the very least, I met Sinomia at work 3 days ago. And I can guarantee that she was the real deal. How would you know that? I had her test out a new bodysuit designed for hugs. It was something the company made. A female staff member helped her put it on at the time, and we talked for a bit afterwards. And where's the real Misane right now? Sawada weakly shakes his head. The highest possibility is Tanegashima. Misane is on Tanegashima. That's way too ironic, even for me. She hasn't been home in 7 years. Is Misane the mastermind behind Project Adam? Does she have connections to the Committee of 300 or the Tavistock Institute? Sinomia is likely just a pawn. Oh. Someone to be used and discarded by others. There's no way I could believe that. Don't screw with me. Hee-ho, hee-ho, hee-ho. Whew. Calm down, Kaito. I whispered to myself before taking a deep breath. I want a space candy. They always help me focus. I just realized something. What? Everything you're saying is just one big conspiracy theory. You're basically explaining everything away with your own delusions. You have no evidence for any of it. You're lying through your teeth. You're trying to confuse me. Brainwashing, propaganda. You explained it all in detail to me specifically for that reason, right? Were you ordered to do this by the Institute? Since I spread the reports, I must be a thorn in their side. You're just feeding me crap in order to confuse me. I won't fall for your tricks. I won't be deceived. You're on the side of the Committee of 300. You're my enemy. Are you planning to kill me like you killed Kamijima and Minami Kogori? Where's Misane? Tell me where she is right now. Despite my threatening attitude, Sawada remains unfazed. That composure of his pisses me off, so I grab him by the collar. Answer me! I don't care if Sawada's leg is injured. I raise him up by the neck. Sawada's face contorts slightly as if he's in pain. It's true that my father, Miguel is a special advisor in the Tavistock Institute. That's not all. He's a member of the Committee of 300. I knew it. But that's my father. I'm revolting against the committee. Don't lie. Gah. I don't blame you for thinking I'm one of them. But there's a scar on my back, about 50 centimeters in size. I got it from an assassin that my father sent after me. Do you want to see it? Bro bonding moment. Hell no. That's not evidence of anything. Then there's nothing I can do. Kill me. Just be quick about it. What's your deal? Do you think I can't do it? Don't screw with me. I can kill someone like you, no problem. I could. Sawada has ceased all resistance. In fact, his face is already going pale. I snap to my senses and release him from my grip. You really are a coward. Shit. I'm pathetic. But I don't think I have time. I don't think I have it in me to kill someone. I understand why you'd be suspicious of me. I was too close to the committee, and eventually they started to disgust me. I couldn't let them do as they please. Though with only the power I wield, crushing them was a dream within a dream. But even then, I thought that if I kept working at it, I'd eventually have the power to destroy them for good. I have allies who are with me, who are willing to fight alongside me. They came to oppose the committee after noticing their awful plans, after attempts were made on their lives. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but we have some big names among our numbers. Neidhart, Derblublich, and Dash. I don't have a clue who those people are, and I don't care. You called Misane a pawn earlier. So, you know, right? You know who's using her? Who's the mastermind behind Project Adam? If you've been able to follow everything I've said so far, you already know the answer. Stop beating around the bush and just tell me. Who the hell is it? You really don't know. Iruo, Happiness for You, Hidden Hand, Tanagashima, Sonomiya, MF and Ebony, EM Radiation Experiments, Monopoles, Exoskeleton Company, Propaganda, Misinformation about the 2020 disturbance, and the Committee in the Institute. They're all connected to the Kamijima reports. And suddenly, just like that, only one name surfaces in my mind. My hair stands on end. No, no way. Sawada weakly nods his head before continuing. The name of the mastermind behind Project Adam, the man currently at the head of this operation, is Ko Kamijima. Ko Kamijima is alive. Dun dun. Frau Kojiro. Gah. After finally arriving upon the info, I bite my nails in front of my monitor. I don't get it at all. The information is as follows. The old Minamitane Cho local hall should be abandoned, but a company bought it in secret and pays the electric bill. It's a small company in Tokyo called Taiyo Development. Due to their paying the bill, the EM wave irradiation device on the first floor continues to function. The very same device used to make monopoles fall. Oh, and another thing. Kokubijima's villa. This was abandoned also, but Iritan's cold sleep device continued to function in the basement. I investigated who was paying the electric bill, and it seems a company called Comet bought the old villa. Why are you investigating? The natural of an at is the nature of an at channeler. The identification team, just me, was fully mobilized. I stayed up all night looking into things. As for what I found, well, Tayo Development is a construction engineering firm. Comet Company is in the restaurant consultant industry. But they're both paper companies. There are no buildings for them at their registered addresses. It was easy enough to investigate from Tanegashima using the Street View function in Iruo. While it looks like both companies had nothing in common, both being paper companies instantly changed things. I thought the company director for both companies might be the same person, but that wasn't the case. But as I did further research, I found that both companies received loans from a lease company called Hoshida. A paper company wouldn't take out a loan, SMH. So get this, Hoshida's special advisor. He was the deputy director and joint investor at the time of Happiness for You's founding. Sakura Hoshida, the TLDR. The money used to maintain Kokumijima's crap on the island came from his old pals through paper companies. Passionate friendship concur. I could totes make a thin book out of this. Wait, no way, no way. It's so important I said it twice. This is almost too fishy. Someone pressed the intercom button outside. Is it the glass company? Ever since they replaced all the broken glass in November, a dealer comes by once a week. It's crazy annoying. Nobody else should be dropping by. Yashio-senpai and Press-senpai are in Tokyo doing lewd things together, and Tracksuit-sensei went with them. Karate-senpai is mentally busted out of action, and Four Eyes can't move due to his busted leg. And who is it? Whoever they are, they're crazy impatient. Frau, looks like you have a guest. You should answer. Give them a super energetic greeting. Shut up, Genki-kun bot. See? It's ringing. Answering is what friends are for. Bring up the intercom camera, Rosetta-tan. Okay, bring it up now. The first floor entrance. I take a look at the camera feed, but nobody is there. Where are they? Ding Dong Ditch is unforgivable. I shall have my revenge. Sometimes you just gotta sock your friends. Shut up, Genki-kun. It all happens instantaneously. The second I hear a gunshot outside my door, two men holding guns quickly come charging into the room. Without time to even make a sound, my arm is twisted behind me. My whole body gets pushed to the floor. Gah. Don't move. Make a sound and we kill you. I can't even raise my head. Moving my neck even slightly causes an intense pain to run down my locked arm. I can't see what the men look like. It hurts too much, and I'm too scared. I feel like I'm about to scream, but I grit my teeth to keep myself in check. Sorry, everyone. Frau, it's okay to have fights with your friends sometimes. Genki-kun's carefree voice rings throughout the room. But you have to make up after the fight so you can be friends again. That's what true friendship is. Someone smashes their gun stock into the monitor of my phone droid. Genki-kun goes silent on the cracked screen. Target B secured, restraining them now. Priest 3, what's your status? Priest 3, Priest 4, report your status. What's wrong? There's no answer from the two on watch. The two men go silent in their confusion. They still have their guns pushed against the back of my head. My teeth have started chattering due to how scared I am. I'm worried that the sound will annoy my captors, so I bite down as hard as I can. Stand her up, let's go. Get up. They pull me up by the arm. Ugh. Pain runs through my joints, causing me to tear up. Priest 3, Priest 4, respond. Priest 3, what's going on? They won't be answering anytime soon. What? And just like that, my arm is released. I fall to my hands and knees and raise my head slightly. I look toward the entrance of my room where the new voice came from. And standing there is, well, The two downstairs are enjoying nap time. Tenoji-shi? Who are... She moves like a flash of light. Given how she usually holds herself, her current reaction speed is unbelievable. In an instant, she closes the distance between herself and the two muscle monsters with their guns raised. Gah! She slams her knee into the first man's face, riding her momentum from earlier. Why you? Unshaken by the fate of his comrade, the other man points his gun at Tenoji-shi, but she's already arrived at his chest. She grabs the man's gun arm and spins around to his back, kicking her heel into his Achilles tendon. Gah! As the man falls on his back, Tenoji-shi drops her knee into his face without a moment's hesitation. Go! The ripped man's body quivers for a moment before going limp. Damn it. The man who suffered a knee to the face groans as he tries to get up, but Tenoji-shi is too fast. Yeah! She plants a roundhouse kick into the defenseless man's jaw. Flawless victory. And just like that, both men are sprawled across the floor, unconscious. Holy shit, that was amazing! Like, why is she so strong? She's like a manga heroine, no matter how you slice it, thank you very much. In a matter of seconds, she puts down two large armed men without getting scratched. That's some overpowered BS. I'm so excited that I sink into the floor. You're the worst kind of scum. What sort of men team up on a girl like that? As for Tenoji-shi, she seems pretty upset. But as soon as she notices my gaze, she reverts to her usual sweet self. Everything's gonna be okay. I'm pretty strong, right? I learned it all from my dad. Now then, what's our next move? I have no clue what's going on, but there is one thing I'm certain of. Dare I say it, you are henceforth Ne-sama! Huh? I'm not exactly the Yuri type, but I'd totes be down with letting Ne-sama take me. Actually, please just take me. Did you just say Kokomijima is alive? This has to be a joke. What else could it be? I force out a smile. That's impossible. I saw Kokomijima's death reported on the local news. The police found his corpse. I mean, I didn't see it directly. I was still a kid at the time, so I just happened to be hospitalized. But when I first found the Komijima reports, I went to the town library and looked up newspapers from that time. I don't have solid evidence of it myself. However, the more I think on it, and the more I dig, the more I've come to believe that he must be alive. Oh, stretch. Oh, man. This show's gonna kill me one day. And since there's only 2 days left, I think it's gonna be soon. It was in the newspaper. They found Kokomijima's body. It was about 2 weeks after the MF Anemone incident. The MF Anemone. Kokomijima died around the same time that the MF Anemone incident took place. Why didn't I realize until now that these two incidents occurred so closely together? Didn't I tell you? The MF Anemone incident was an electromagnetic irradiation experiment. The man in charge of it was Kokomijima. Let's just say that he's one of many endpoints birthed by the Tavistock Institute. What? Is he saying Kokomijima is a member of the Institute? The weapon of silence created with the specific purpose of inciting and brainwashing the public. That's who Kokomijima is. Quit it with your BS. That man died nearly 10 years ago. You're being manipulated. Sawada raises his voice for the first time. But that's crazy. This is all so crazy. So basically, the Komijima reports I spent all that time looking for. The reports warning the world, all of it was fake? You're telling me that Kokomijima and his pawn Misane were behind the MF Anemone incident? If I believed that, I'd lose my mind. They were behind that awful memory? No way. Hey, I'm about to go crazy here. So please, tell me you're lying. Tell me this is just delusional nonsense. The world I believed in up until now is turned upside down. The people I believed in up until now. If this is all true, then I didn't want to know. Ignorance is bliss. Mizuka-san was right. I opened Pandora's box myself. I'm a fool. Please say something. I don't care if you lied, just tell me that this is all delusional BS. Unfortunately, this is all the truth. Sawada has no mercy. He completely ignores my pleas. It was Tsunomiya herself who alluded to the possibility that Kokomijima was still alive. In retrospect, it was when Tsunomiya told me that I began to trust her in full. From then on, we worked together to follow any trail that Kokomijima left behind. But in reality, Tsunomiya was just feeding me false info. That's why even after 3 years of digging, I could never find him. Believe me, I'm just as much of a fool. Kokomijima was effectively leading us around with his misinformation. And you fell for it just as hard as I did, Kaito Yashio. I'm not blaming you. Neither of us could have done a thing against the weapon of silence. The Kamijima reports were just another piece of propaganda designed to deceive the world. Kokomijima casually spread his false information, thereby manipulating others to propagate it worldwide. And the snowball rolled along. As the snowball rolled along, it transformed from urban legends into global conspiracy theories. Speculation creates further speculation, and the real truth becomes vague, hidden in the sea of info. And so people are deceived. They start jumping at shadows, and eventually it all explodes when it reaches its limit. A symbol of that being the fake Grand Obelisk and the collapse of Odaiba. The reality is that there have been no natural disasters today. Bless you. There have been no solar disturbances. All that happened in Odaiba was Misaki Tsunomiya's hug rampage. Everyone here is seeing the same illusion. Fake images of a collapsed Odaiba have been uploaded to Iruo. Unexplainable blackouts in big cities all across the world. Countless rumors are circulating the net. The media is picking them up and repeating them, creating fake news. A collection of robots have had their AIs hijacked like last year, but the scale is currently unknown. Beyond that, there are riots being caused by people manipulated by all this fake info. The entire world has been made to dance in the palm of one man. Why? I told you in the beginning. There's only one objective amidst all this chaos. The execution of Project Adam. In order to guarantee its success, all eyes must be turned away from Tanegashima. Is this all really necessary just to... And yet it's clear that the plan has succeeded. The militaries and police forces of the world have their hands full trying to quell the chaos. Even though a rocket that'll end the world is being ready for launch as we speak. If the US forces in Japan deployed from Okinawa, they could put an end to all of this in a heartbeat. But they can't do that. Right now, other than the enemy, the only people who know about the rocket are likely you and I. And we have no way of stopping it. Hell, I'm down for the count. Upon hearing his words, I noticed that his face has gone even paler. As he said, he performed emergency treatment on himself, but there's a pool of blood where he sits. Are you really okay? Well, if nothing else, I won't be moving very much for a while. But don't worry about me. I'll find some way to contact my people before I kick the bucket. They're pretty reliable. We don't have much time, but if I can get in touch with them, they might just be able to pull something off. Don't worry too much about what you did. You just happened to get targeted by Kokamijima. If it wasn't you, it would have been someone else. The Kamijima reports would have been released regardless. But Kokamijima chose me as his target. Misane knew that, and yet she still partnered up with him. I chased her all this time. Misane was always my objective. But she's... I need to go home. Back to Tanegashima. And how exactly are you gonna do that? I don't know, but right now I'm the only one who can stop that rocket launch, right? I need to do something. For some reason, a dry laugh comes out of my mouth. I don't feel like I've been betrayed. This is all on me for placing my own expectations on her. And who knows, maybe Misane doesn't think she's betrayed us at all. The true identity of this emotion that's been smoldering at the bottom of my heart. I'm peeved. Yeah, that's right, I'm pissed. I worked so hard to catch up to her. I thought I was close. She felt like she was within reach. But instead, I discovered that she never thought of me as anything more than a crappy NPC before tossing me away. That pisses me off. Which is why I'm gonna stop it. If I don't, I'll never be able to move on. I can't stand this. I hate it. I may have lost, but I'm not gonna cry myself to sleep over it. I'm annoyed, I'm frustrated, and the only way to make good is to take this final chance and make a comeback. I don't care if Kokamijima is my enemy or my ally. I sure as hell don't give a damn about Misane's true intentions. They challenged me. I got tricked and dragged into a match that I didn't even know I was in. But now I know they've picked a fight with me. I'm not just gonna lie down and let them win. I'm putting everything on the line for this. When I glance over at Sawada, he looks genuinely surprised. I'll do whatever it takes to get back to the island. Sawada quietly chuckles and shrugs his shoulders. Well, if you're planning on heading back, take that with you. Sawada points at a knapsack with an NIV device inside. An electromagnetic wave irradiation device. It won't do anything by itself. It won't activate without a special cartridge inserted into the slot. But if you do find a way to use it, you'll have one powerful weapon in your arsenal. Remember, your enemy is a human. If you hit them with EM waves, you can make them see illusions. Make good use of it. Good use, huh? I pick up the knapsack and sling it over my shoulder. Then I remove the handgun from my pocket and put it at Sawada's feet. I'll be returning this. Got no use for that thing in my game. I see. Sawada doesn't even look at the gun. He managed to get to Tanegashima in one piece. Give codename Esperon my regards. Esperon? Who's that? I don't know their real name. They're one of my comrades, but I only know them online. They told me that they know you. I'll keep that in mind. After shooting him a response, I exit the expo arena without looking back. The sun's gone down. Even at night, the grand obelisk floats up in the darkness. The moon up high is slender. This might be the quietest night I've ever seen in Tokyo. I'm guessing it's because of the lack of cars. Until yesterday, the city was lit up to a dazzling degree, but there are almost no lights tonight. And it's super dark. That said, it's still brighter than Tanegashima at night. On the opposite shore, the heart of Tokyo's 23 wards looks darker than usual too. I wonder if this place will recover from the blackout. God, this is so frustrating. How much of Sawada's words were true, and how much of it was pure delusion. I can't sort it out right now. Sawada and Kokamijima. There's no way for me to check who's right or wrong. It's not like I can fix the blackout myself. I've been walking around Odaiba all night trying to figure out what my next move is. I eventually concluded that I'll have to walk all the way to Haneda Airport. Compared to the daytime, there are much fewer people walking around. Most people have sought refuge indoors at places like the Expo Arena Sky, Fujisan TV, hotels, and shopping malls. In Odaiba, there was a clear distinction between who wanted to leave and people who wanted to stay. I'm going to switch positions here real quick. Whoa. Apparently, most of the people who decided to leave headed in the direction of the Harumi to reach the city center. Not being able to use a car is a pretty big deal. Cars on the road are able to move normally, so almost all of them left Odaiba. I hardly see any left. Giant parking garages are something else, though. I guess the people who parked in there had to give up on getting their cars. The garages have electronic locks. There are service robots at the exits and entrances. Since they've gone haywire, there's no way in or out. I'm sure you could probably force your car through. Nobody's even tried. Are they just assuming it'd be impossible? People are assuming that since electronic devices are unusable because of the disturbance, cars would be too. This is absurd. There's still over 100,000 people in Odaiba. Not a single one of them thought to force their car through. Is this what it means to be under the effects of propaganda? Back in the hotel lobby, Mr. Candy informs me that Akio is resting in our room. Aki-chan, are you awake? The door wasn't locked. So when I enter without knocking, I see Akio on the bed clutching her knees. Aki-chan. Knock. Really? At a time like this? Kai, I'm sorry. Akio's voice sounds dry. Right now, I want you to leave me alone. Why? Because my face is a mess. I don't want you to see me like this. She's been like this ever since we fled the expo arena. That said, I have no intention of doing as told. I start packing up my belongings in the corner of the room. I get how you feel, Aki-chan. I know how much you love Misane. And that same person destroyed the robot you worked so hard to build with your friends. I get it. But if you fall apart now, you won't be that wastefully optimistic Aki-chan, I know. It's times like this that the normal you would bust out a gun barrel line. A blast of... I'm not, Kai. I'm not optimistic at all. Akio raises her head and she screams at me. Her glare is piercing. I'm actually a little surprised. Never really seen Akio snap like this. There are plenty of times that I want to cry. I wanted to try calling Misa every single day, but when I thought about how she might hate me for it, I didn't. I could have tried to go see her any time I wanted, but I didn't. I was scared. I was too scared. You know what, Kai? For the last 7 years, I was so scared to see her. Terrified. It's all because of what she said to me before she left the island. That no matter what I do, I'm just average. I was always afraid that from her point of view, I was just a pathetic and annoying little sister. Akio isn't even trying to hold back her tears anymore. How much has she cried today? Too much. Her eyes are completely red. I shouldn't have come to Tokyo. I shouldn't have built that robot. I shouldn't have seen Misa. I shouldn't have had the dream. You don't want to see Misane one more time and talk to her? I don't want to see her anymore. Even if I did, she wouldn't look at me. I just can't. Not anymore. I'm tired. I want to be alone for a while. In that case, feel free to mope around as much as you want in here. But I'm not going to sit here and watch Aki-chan. Quite frankly, I'm disappointed. Kai, don't be like that. Lift up my bag after packing it with what I need. I'm gonna do whatever I can to get home. Huh? Home? What are you gonna do? It's highly likely that Misane is on Tanegashima right now. No way. I'm gonna go see her. Later. Kai! Akio panics and tumbles off the bed. But instead of trying to help her, I immediately exit the room. Every minute, every second counts. The first thing is first, I gotta get to the airport. I entrust Akio to Mr. Candy and then leave the hotel to check my map. The shortest route to Haneda Airport is riding the Aqualiner. Unfortunately, it's currently out of service. By foot, I have 3 paths available to me. First, I can cross the Rainbow Bridge. Then I can walk south along the coast from Shinagawa. Sadly, the bridge is closed. Sounds like a no-go. My next option is the shortest path, the Metro Expressway Bayshore Route Tunnel. It's usually off limits to pedestrians, but it's closed for traffic right now, so there are no cars. This might work. Third, I can hit the Tokyo Harbor Coastal Road at Harumi and exit at Heiwajima, another car route. Let's go with the easiest to understand route. Below the bridge, I can see the Bayshore route shrouded in darkness. It's probably dark inside of the tunnel too. Glad I brought a flashlight with me. Kai, wait! Akio comes chasing after me. She clings to my arm. Hey, wait! How are you gonna get back to the island alone? First I'll get to Haneda. I'll figure things out from there. I should be able to walk there in like 3 hours. There aren't any planes flying. Who knows? Flights to Kagoshima might suddenly get restored. It doesn't have to be Kagoshima. I'm fine with anywhere on Kyushu. Either way, I gotta see Misane no matter what. Aki-chan, you read them too, right? The Kamijima reports? You know about Project Adam? It's possible that Misane is in the process of making that thing a reality. She's trying to use the TNSC rocket to kill 5 billion people. Akio's eyes widen as she shakes her head in denial. I grab her by the shoulders and look her straight in the eyes. Right now, we're the only ones in the world who know that. That's why I'm going to the island. Kai, do you love Misa? Is this really a time and place for this? Why would she suddenly ask me that? Whatever, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I used to. I hold Akio in my arms. That's not why I'm doing this. I'm not even doing this to save the world. It's actually a lot more trivial. I'm going so I can settle things with Misane. Settle things? What do you mean? This is a match. At least to me it is. I lost the first round. Pretty badly at that. But I refuse to sit here and be made to look like a fool. I was always the one doing the chasing. I just wanted to surpass her. And reaching the top would mean I did that. I got to where I am believing that. I've spent my entire life chasing after this distant goal. I'm not gonna let her win and run. Before she kills 5 billion people, I'm gonna make her face me in one more match. And if I win, I'll be the best in the world. Kai. What about you, Aki-chan? Are you okay with losing to Misane? Are you going to let her become the worst murderer in human history? 5 billion people? This is too much for me. I can feel Akio's back trembling a little. This isn't a burden we can carry. Hey Kai, no matter how hard you try, you won't be able to do anything about this. Let's just stop all this craziness. Let's just stay here until it's safe. Akio's a goner. She probably won't recover for a while yet. So I guess I'll have to leave her here. Huh? What's the sound? A sound that cuts through the silence, pokes and prods in my ears. Is that the sound of car tires? Eventually, I see a light coming from deep inside Tokyo Harbor Tunnel. It's the headlights of a car. A single car comes speeding out from the tunnel. Wait, if I can catch a ride with them, I might be able to get to Haneda. I distance myself from Akiho and look down under the bridge. Emerging from the tunnel is a crappy-looking white small car. It sways around a bit as it zooms along. Eventually, it comes to a stop in the middle of the road right below me. The driver's side door opens. With all the highway lights off, I can't make out the person from the top of the bridge. Excuse me. Could you give me a ride to Haneda Airport? I make the request knowing full well that they might say no. What? Is that Yashio and little Sonomiya? The driver somehow identifies us by name. Listen up, you guys. I can't drive straight while going fast. Pro tip. That definitely doesn't qualify as a pro tip. And wait a second. Michi? I doubt my eyes. The figure steps in front of the headlights and all of my doubt vanishes. The man that appears before us all before us in all of his tracksuit glory is the very same teacher we couldn't get in touch with. Go get my uncle, we're going home. Michi gives me a thumbs up, almost as if he saw through everything. Hold on tight. The 658cc four-cylinder engine roars. The Ariake Junction entrance to the Rainbow Bridge has the crossing gate down. Michi charges the car straight toward it. We're going to hit it. This is an emergency. To hell with the rules. Eek. Boing boing, John. He's totally ignoring traffic laws. Mitch? Weird. Smashes into the gate without braking, and the car zips right through it. We drive down the junction to the closed-off Daiba line. This is not for you. But it makes for one hell of a act. Why are you enjoying this? And wait, isn't the Rainbow Bridge closed? Are we gonna be okay? Uh-oh, I feel sick. Michi, go slower. What are you talking about? I'm totally doing the speed limit. The fact that he's driving is so messed up despite doing the speed limit is actually kind of impressive. We've been jerking left to right in our seats the whole time. At last, I see the Rainbow Bridge in front of us. It's not lit up. Even the aircraft warning lights are off, so it's totally shrouded in darkness. Wait, Mitsuhiko, exactly where are you going? Or aren't we going to Haneda? Haneda is in the opposite direction. Even if we get there, the planes aren't flying. Wait, do you think that Haneda and Narita were the only airports in Tokyo? They're not. Pro tip. We're heading to Chofu. Chofu Airport? Is it famous or something? Nope. Most people living in Tokyo probably don't know about it. Wait, Michi, does that airport really exist? It does. Michi grips the steering wheel and grins. By the way, there's a facility right next to it. This is key, but I'll fill you in just this once. It's the JAXA Chofu Space Center. What? Consider that a pro tip too. The engine's noises grow louder. Before I can collect my thoughts, we've already zoomed through the Rainbow Bridge. The car's tires screech against the asphalt as we slip into the circular route junction. It took some time to get to Chofu. There weren't any other cars on the road, but the street lights were all out. This means that the roads formed something of a dark labyrinth. Unfortunately, Michi ended up going the wrong way more than once. It took nearly 2 hours to reach the Chofu interchange. Chofu Airport is more like an airfield with a single runway. While it seems several times larger than the old Tanegashima Airport, it doesn't feel that way thanks to the darkness. There are multiple small aircraft parked in the airport apron. Most of them look like Cessnas. Don't tell me we're going to head to Tanegashima in a Cessna. Ugh, I feel like throwing up. Akio's a mess thanks to Michi's pro driving skills. She was already worse for wear. Now she basically looks like a zombie. I lend her a shoulder and she basically clings to my body. This way. Michi leads the way and we find a single propeller plane parked closest to the runway. Huh, this is the same type of plane used for flights to Tanegashima. He's right, it can carry about 30 people. The name written on the frame is also the same. The ramp has already been lowered, making it possible to see the captain stand by in the cockpit. Other than that, I don't see a single passenger inside. As for the cabin crew, there might not be one. Michi waves his hand at the cockpit window. Yashio-san, thanks a lot! Wait, what? Hold on a second. Wait. I run up to the plane and I can't believe my eyes when I peer into the cockpit. The captain sees me and salutes. I can see the man inside clear as day thanks to the cockpit lights. There's no mistaking it. Dad, what's he doing here? Yo, Michi, explain this. What the heck's going on? Michi shrugs his shoulders, a blank expression on his face. Remember Tennoji-san from JAXA? Yeah, Nei-san, what about her? About a week before we departed for Tokyo, she called me and your old man out of nowhere. Nei-san called Dad? She told us that it was possible there might be a terrorist attack in the near future. She said that if something happened while we were in Tokyo, we should go to Chofu Airport. And she asked her dad to fly his plane here if a terrorist attack actually went down. She even said the people up top approved of this already. Wait, could Nei-san possibly be the S-Brawn that Swana mentioned? You're telling me that Dad flew all the way here after a solar disturbance hit? I look up at the cockpit again. Dad seems to be hurriedly checking some meters. I'm the only one here who knows that we didn't get hit with anything. In other words, Dad came here knowing his plane might be turned into a brick mid-flight. That's crazy. We can talk about the details later. Everything's ready. Let's make like a tree and scram. He's right. The details don't matter. Now's not the time to think about who Nei-san really is or Dad's recklessness. I have something to do. Something I want. And that's to face Misane in a match. Mr. Candy and Michi both head toward the aircraft ramp. I'm about to follow them when I notice Akio is frozen in place. Aki-chan? She's holding herself, trembling. Are we really going home? I'm scared. I'm scared of seeing Misa again. Aki-chan, you don't have to see her. Kai. But I know you're gonna get lonely if you stay here in Tokyo alone. Let's at least go home together. I'm sure your parents are worried about you. But Akio remains still, her head held low. Kagame. Unexpectedly, I hear a singing voice coming from the darkness of the runway. The bird in the cage. Someone's there, shrouded in darkness. A ghost, an illusion. When, oh when, will it come out? Scared, Akio tightly grips my hand. In the night of dawn. Amidst the silence, the sound of footsteps gradually grows closer. The crane and the turtle slipped, and at last the source of the voice reveals itself from the shadows. That appearance, that face, there's no way I would mistake it. Ain't that the ghost of Uchigaoka Park? Should I be recording this? That girl, that's Irie, right? The AI program created by Kokamijima, Misane's friend. Judging by her expression, she seems more like Ejine at the moment. I can't sense any kind of emotion from her. It's like she has no soul. She wears an empty expression on her face. Ugh. Sitting up. Oof. It's like she's looking at someone but unable to see anyone. Who's behind you now? She mumbles quietly. Which one is she? Is she the real Iriyuki Fune? Or is she the AR program made by Kokamijima? I'm looking at her without using a phone droid right now. So common sense says that she's the real one. But that doesn't mean anything. Especially considering what happened with Misane and the Grand Obelisk. She could just be another illusion visible to the naked eye. Plus her timing leads me to believe she must have been waiting for us. Iris begins to slowly raise her thin arm. She stops at about shoulder height. In her hand is a black handgun that coolly reflects the moonlight, completely unbefitting her young appearance. I'm concerned for a moment, but then remind myself that if she's just an AR annotation, then the gun isn't real. It's just a bluff to... Ah! What? Some of the asphalt at our feet goes flying. That was a real bullet. Her gun's real? In other words, the Irie in front of us is no illusion. Iriyuki Fune. That's impossible. Iriyuki Fune is hospitalized in Shibuya. There's no way she can make it to Chofu in all this chaos. Hell, the fact that she was waiting for us is even crazier. I never told her that we were coming here. I didn't even know this was an option until 2 hours ago. Nobody else here knows Iriyuki Fune. And yet here she is, dramatically appearing and singing Kagame Kagame. She shouldn't have any memories from AR Irie, so why did she sing that song? This is all terribly futile. Irie begins to speak. But as I suspected, there's no emotion behind her words. I won't let you fly away from here. If you insist on going, you'll have to run me over and kill me. Her tone is altogether different from AR Irie, Iriyuki Fune, and even Gejine. She's different from every other Irie. Then who is she? Of course, I am a living human being. If you run me over, my flesh will tear, my bones will break, my innards will be crushed, and my blood will spill. Someone's watching me. And it's not Irie. Someone's got their eyes on me somewhere. But I have no clue where they are. Are they hidden in the darkness, right next to me, behind me, in the plane? If you're prepared to do that, then be my guest. Who are you? Yashio. Michi then whispers into my ear. Look at her through Iruo. Eh? I hurriedly whip out my phone droid and turn the camera toward Irie. Then boot up Iruo. And right there on my screen, it's a man. He's right behind Irie. He's close enough to be touching her. His body is slim and his hair is long. That's a man invisible to the naked eye. A man only visible in AR. A ghost. The wandering dead. Don't tell me I've never seen that face before, but you're Kokamijima. As soon as he hears me say the name aloud, the man's lip twists into a wicked grin. Everything Sawada said was true. The culprit behind everything, the mastermind behind it all. The man who changed Misane. The man who deceived me. It's him. All of this is happening because of him. The project is already 90% complete. I can hear his voice. His voice is coming from our phone droids. The same system as AR Irie. It's programmed so that his voice we hear changes based on its position. Much like a car has a braking distance, my plane cannot be stopped so suddenly. Is this Kokamijima's voice? So no matter how hard people like you and Sawada-kun try, you're too late. You cannot stop it. Spent over 10 years on this project after all. I wanted to be absolutely sure. I eliminated as many irregular factors as possible from the project. Your role is complete, so you've already exited the stage, so I'm gonna have to ask you to stay backstage. His voice is soft. Actually, it's kinda weak. Mr. Candy would make for a better final boss. Wait, no, I can't let him fool me. What if what Sawada said is true? This man has the weapon of silence. He's been trying to massacre 5 billion people. If you still insist on trying to interfere with my work, well, I could do this to Irie Yukifune. Kokamijima's hand covers Irie Yukifune's hand holding the gun. She's like a puppet on a string. Irie Yukifune and Kokamijima's hand movements are synchronized. Alright. I'm gonna take one last break, and then when we come back, we will finish this off. Should be all good. I'm just gonna take about a half an hour, then I'll be back, and we'll end it. Ah! Alright everyone, I've got up, I've walked around. Let's finish this. It's been a long time. He bends Irie's arm and raises the gun. He then places the muzzle up against her temple. Despite what's happening, Irie's expression remains vacant. You would be sending her to her death. Stop! I swallow my breath. I chose my words wisely as I talked to the Phantom Man. Hiccups. Oh god, I have the hiccups. No, not now. Not now. I thought you were dead. Are you just an AI like Irie? I suppose in a technical sense, that's correct. God damn it, this is the worst possible time. However, the volume of data is different from Irie. I converted my memories and personality into data. Converting memories into data was made possible through a certain university in the US. They published a thesis. I put that to practical use. In other words, you could say that I'm a personality that has been transferred to the net, memories intact. While it might be artificial in a sense, you've gained eternal life. I've gained eternal life. Are you jealous? Originally, I was going to perform a more perfect transfer after more thorough research. But things went a bit sour and Misaki Tsunomiya murdered me. Huh? Misane killed Kokamijima? I thought they were friends. I'm so confused. Once again, I have no idea what's going on. What is Misane's goal in all of this? I glance over at Akio to see her reaction. She looks stunned. Thus, I've been constructed using incomplete alpha version data, taken just prior to my death. Due to that, I can't use all the power I had when I was alive, hence why it took me 10 years to execute this plan. Project Adam was originally scheduled for 2015. What do you mean Misane killed you? Ah, yes, she was truly brave and also barbaric. She tried to stop me that day. I was in the middle of an important experiment, you see. An important experiment? The MF anemone. Yes, it was to confirm whether it would be possible to show illusions to large groups of people using EM radiation. How could you say something like that so nonchalantly? How much suffering does he think he put me, Akio, and everyone else on that ship through over the last 10 years? That day's experiment was the test of my upper limit. I raised the EM waves to their max strength. Originally, I had expected to end up killing every person aboard the MF anemone. What? What did you just say? Indeed, if the experiment had gone for another 10 minutes, that would have been the end result. Misaki just happened to drop by my house at the time, and when I told her about it, she told me to stop. Silly girl. What a fool would simply stop because they were told to. When I refused. I won't let you kill them. I won't let you kill Aki and Kai. I won't let you kill them. Kill. Is he dead? What have I... Ow. Because of her, my head had been smashed in like a watermelon at the other end of that bat. My, what an awful thing she did. That's why about a month later I decided to appear before Misaki. The rest was simple. I prodded her sense of guilt and she easily fell into my hands. She's been working for me ever since. She is essentially my arms and legs. She does whatever I tell her to do. If I told her to die in the middle of a live worldwide broadcast, she would likely do it. If I were to put it another way, because she saved the two of you, Misaki is about to become the worst murderer in human history. The Misaki Tsunomiya of the past no longer exists. She shoulders the weight of her sins. The moment she murdered me, the rest of Misaki's life was set in stone. Tell me, do you intend on killing her in order to save the world? I admit that would be admirable. But if you did that, I'd simply turn you into my next tools. I would use the guilt you carried over killing your sister. Eventually, our heroes would turn to the darkness and destroy the world they protected. Not a bad scenario at all. I have all the time in the world, so I have no problem with starting from zero. So, what will you do? Will you go to the island and have your battle to the death with Misaki? Oh, and by the by, she's armed with the second Sumeragi unit, the same machine that destroyed your robot. Perhaps I'll command her to actually kill you all this time. When I try to respond, the person who holds me back and steps towards Kokomijima is... Aki-chan? Her expression is calm and collected. There's not an ounce of fear in her eyes. She looks straight at Airi Yukifune and Kokomijima behind her, invisible to the naked eye. Komijima-san, does Misa still love robots? Aki-chan, what are you doing? What an amusing question. Kokomijima smiles. She probably still does, I imagine. Misaki plays a game called Kill Ballad from time to time. She's Tajiringer, nicknamed Tajirin. That really was Misane. And Misa, even now, she's still... From where I'm standing, I can see Akio clench her fists. To me, robots were what bound us together. To me, robots were dreams. Robots were hope. Robots were the crystallization of the work that my friends and I did. Robots listen to our commands and execute them. They can't even move properly without us there to tell them what to do. They're so big, and yet they all need help. They need all the help they can get, like children. But the more seriously you treat them, the more they'll give back. They might just be lumps of machinery, but I've come to believe that they have souls. You know how Japanese people are so quick to personify robots? I think it's because Japanese people believe that anything and everything contains a soul. Gunbuild 1 and Gunbuild 2 were both like my children. And yet, Misane destroyed all of it. My sister, the same girl who loved robots, destroyed them. How did she feel? Was she sad? Was it painful for her? Was she able to feel anything at all? You won't get away with this. I won't let you get away with making Misa do something so horrible, Kokomijima. You won't let me get away with it? Pray tell, what do you plan on doing? Can you even stop Misaki? Didn't I already tell you? She's armed with sumeragi. She's also accompanied by a team of 10 professional soldiers armed to the teeth. Hee-ho. It's then that Akio starts to laugh fearlessly. She doesn't look at me, but she does grab my hand with hers. I grip it firmly in response. Haven't you heard? The evil robot is always defeated by the robot of justice. Always! Seriously? Oh, no. Wait. We still have one giant robot left. The one that Misa designed herself. We're gonna drag out prototype Model 1? That piece of junk? Hee-ho-ho-ha-ha. Didn't think she'd play that card. Aki-chan, you're the goddamn best. Let me fill you in, Kamijima-san. Up until now, giant bipedal robots, dozens upon dozens of times, no, hundreds of times, they have saved the world from annihilation. Well, in anime and games anyhow. Though I suppose she's not technically wrong. And so a robot's gonna save the world this time too. The robot we built. The robot filled with our hopes and dreams. We're gonna defeat your evil robot. And we're gonna put you down too. And we're gonna beat Misa. We're gonna save the whole world. The Committee of 300, the Tavistock Institute, Project Atom, Kokamijima, you can all shove it. And we're gonna sock Misa too. We're not gonna lose to that superwoman anymore. Justice, always win. We will win. And we're gonna save Misa. That's what I call a shout from the soul. Subaru Hidaka's home. Wait, what did that just say? Hold up. What did that just say? Did I read that correctly? I think I read that incorrectly. That was today, right? The 26th? I'm just gonna assume it was the 26th. And so a robot's gonna save the world this time too. The robot we built. The robot filled with our hopes and dreams. We're gonna defeat your evil robot. We're gonna put you down too. And we're gonna beat Misa. We're gonna save the whole world. It's a live broadcast. Video just suddenly started playing on Nagafukata's Twipo account. Former club president Tsunomiya Senpai is passionately yelling somewhere dark. Yashio Senpai is holding her hand. Who are they talking to? What are they talking about? I don't know the details. What I do know, a robot filled with our hopes and dreams. A robot of justice will save the world. Such a simplistic view of good and evil sounds exactly like the super robot anime that Tsunomiya Senpai enjoys. As far as I'm concerned, those stories are too childish. They lack appeal. So why? What's this strange feeling welling up in my chest? Why are there tears in my eyes? My gaze is naturally drawn to the cardboard box at the corner of the room. My leg's in a cast, so I basically have to crawl to the box. I open the lid. I take a look inside. It's there that I find the wreckage of my old partner. He's been broken for half a year now. It was 10 years ago. When I saw Misaki Tsunomiya, a high schooler at the time, at Robo 1, I became fascinated with robots. The fascination is what brought me to M45. I picked up one of the parts. I gently wrap its cold sensation in the palm of my hand. The memories come flooding back. When I was in elementary school, at a small toy shop, I had a small RC toy bought for me. After watching Robo 1, I desperately wanted a robot of my own. Of course, there were no bipedal RC robot toys back then, so I got an animal type with 4 legs. Naturally, it was my dad who bought it for me. I remember what he said to me that day. You better take responsibility for this little guy and put him together. Don't you dare give up midway through. Well, you're smart, so I bet you'll get it done in no time. Hee-ho, hee-ho, hee-ho. I look at my left leg. It's held in place by a hard cast. During surgery, I had multiple bolts inserted into it. If I don't take painkillers, the intense pain keeps me from sleeping. Even then, when I take another look deep inside my heart, the answer comes immediately. No, I already had the answer. This entire month, ever since I broke my leg, I've just been thinking the whole time. After hearing Sinomiya Senpai spill her soul, well, I can't possibly sit here any longer. I put on a change of clothes and exit my room with crutches in hand. Dad is in the living room. He's staring out at the darkness through the window. He said he saw a swarm of robots during the day at sea, so he must still be worried about it. Where do you think you're going? Just hearing his voice makes my body tremble. Dad has been a massive wall that I could never overcome. I have all the respect in the world for him, and I'm serious about inheriting his work. However, to club. I barely managed to squeeze out the words without stuttering. I'm going to club. Dad, I look Dad straight in the eyes, and I make my intentions clear. I'm still a member of the robot club. I realize something. I really do love building robots. Up until now, I did my best to avoid that truth. I kept telling myself that it was something bad. But in the end, I loved building robots ever since I was a kid. I want to cherish these feelings. And what are you going to do if you get badly hurt again? On top of that, you're going out at a time like this, in this weather. Have you ever considered how we might feel? I'm happy that you're concerned for my well-being, Dad. And I'm ashamed of myself for betraying your feelings. But I have to do this. This is something that only me and my friends can do. I don't want to regret things anymore. I want to take responsibility and finish building that robot. I won't give up midway through, no matter what. This is my dream. I'm sorry, Dad. But I have to go. Fine. He spits out his reply and withdraws into his room. I was prepared to get socked once or twice, so his response leaves me a bit shocked. I bow my head, put on a raincoat, and leave the house. I didn't encounter a single person or car on the way to the old airport. The island is essentially under martial law right now. Rumors that armed terrorists have taken over the Tanegashima Space Center have spread around the whole island already. I've heard that everyone from Minami Tanecho has been evacuated to my high school. But there's nobody at the old airport located next door. Just a locked hangar, and prototype Model 1 sleeping inside of it. Or at least, that's what I thought. Hidaka-kun? The hangar door is open, and from inside I hear a familiar voice. Daitoku-senpai. I saw Aki-chan's video and, to be honest, I don't think I should come here. I still think I made a mistake even now. But after hearing Aki-chan's words, I felt like I couldn't just sit around doing nothing. So here I am. You're going to, rebuild Model 1-kun, right? That's what Aki-chan was saying? I'm sorry. I haven't once apologized to you, Hidaka-kun. I'm so sorry. It's because of me that the robot club is gone. But I didn't want that. I didn't want this to happen. I might not have the right to say this after injuring you, Hidaka-kun, but you don't have to let me come back. But I want you, Aki-chan, Yashio-kun, and Kojiro-san to be able to continue the robot club. That's what I came here to say, and... Ugh. Daitoku-senpai starts shaking her head left and right. She had been trying to hold back tears this entire time, but she's given up. Big teardrops are already gushing from her eyes. No, that's not what I really want to say. I also want to continue the robot club. I want to build robots again with everyone. Daitoku-senpai wails loudly, her face a total mess. Even then, she doesn't try to wipe away the tears. She simply falls to her knees. Senpai? I know I can't be forgiven for what I've done. I'm useless. I don't add anything to the group. But even then, Daichi-senpai gets on her hands and knees and puts her head down. I still want to try one more time. I don't want this new dream that I finally found to end like this. Please, Hidaka. I know I'm being selfish. But please, let me help too. I'm begging you. The sound of rain outside echoes loudly through the hangar. I don't think I've ever been here at night. I let out a sigh. I'm not gonna give you a hand. I mean, my leg is broken after all. Come on, raise your head, stand up. You don't have time for apologies, Daichi-senpai. What? With my leg like this, I can barely get around. So you're gonna have to do my share of the work. We'll call it even after that. Hidaka-kun. Yeah, okay, thanks. Thank you so much. You forced a senior to prostrate herself, then coerced her into becoming your slave. In a sexual way. What a rookie is this? I'm suddenly assailed by a bright light. Look, what's happening? Who's there? In the light of a flashlight, two figures appear. From now on, I'm calling you Fiendish Four Eyes. I'll accept no objections. Excuse me? Daichi-senpai, hurry and stand up, please. She's totally misunderstanding the situation. I'm sorry. Daichi-senpai stands up straight, then staggers a little. She falls over toward me. This is bad. If she falls on me, I won't be able to hold her up. Actually, my leg could be in serious trouble. But I have no escape route. Just when I come to expect the worst, Tennoji-san dashes between us and holds up Daichi-senpai. Are you okay? Sorry. Is it just me or was she insanely fast just now? Yet here she is, smiling as usual. Subaru-kun, Jenna-chan, Kona-chan. Looks like all the former Robot Club members are here. Former? I think not. We're the current Robot Club members. Right. That's what I wanted to hear. Now this is youth. How wonderful. Did everyone come here after hearing Akiho-chan's passionate speech? Daichi-senpai and I both nod. As for Fudogori, can you even call that a speech? A passionate speech would be, for example, something like, "Gentlemen, I love war, SMH. That said, Press Senpai did a pretty good job, legit." She's muttering to herself. Then I guess we know what we have to do. A familiar truck with a crane comes driving up to the hangar with perfect timing. And out from the driver's seat. Huh, you're all here. It's Doc. He acts like he expected us to be together. Let's get started. The next 24 hours are gonna decide it all. Ain't nobody here sleeping tonight. Let's do this. Without explaining a single thing, he dives right into barking orders. You're a rocker, Fujita-san. Nah. Akiho's the real rocker. She's got balls of steel. We don't need further instruction. There are only 5 of us here, but we're all thinking the same thing. We glance at prototype Model 1 lying quietly in the darkness. Prez, Yashio-senpai. We'll do everything in our power to get him up and running. We'll be waiting for you both to come back. The clear sound of applause echoes across the dark runway. Without breaking his smile, Kokumijima claps his hands, gun still drawn on Irie. This is his response to Akio's courageous declaration. In other words, you're saying that you'd kill your sister with your own hands. How straightforward you are. I like that. The world is filled with people who hide their true feelings to put up a convenient public face. But I see, how unfortunate, to choose the path of killing a loved one in order to save the world. It's courageous, but also barbaric and truly cruel. Kokomijima scoffs at us. He once again places his hand over Airi's, the one holding the gun. Airi's finger is already on the trigger. The muzzle is still pressed against her temple. In that case, let's make this a learning experience. Allow me to show you the consequences of your actions. No. No, no, no. I'm gonna sneeze, I think. Here it comes. Hot dog. Let Airi go. She has nothing to do with this. Oh, on the contrary, she has everything to do with this. Up until this very moment, she has always been my hostage. The hostage that you just chose to abandon. Stop! This was your decision. You cruel, cruel people chose to save the world in exchange for this dear child's life. Stop! Which is why I shall show her no mercy. I need you all to understand what fate awaits you. What will happen when you face Misaki on the island. You mustn't avert your eyes. You must see through to the end the fate of the life you threw away. Even in the distance I can tell. The finger Airi has on the trigger has begun to tense up. Stop. If she squeezes any further, Airi's going to die. How sad. After 10 long years, you've finally been awoken from your slumber. And for what? Just to die. If you want to resent someone, resent these people for trying to become the saviors of the world. Farewell, Airi. Stop! Boing-chan! What? Suddenly, a rainbow-colored bullet with an annoying voice zips across my field of vision. That bullet flies directly at Airi. It snatches the gun from her hand and soars high into the air. Not Boing-chan! That boy, Taro. Uncle's parakeet? This is crazy. Airi's life was in the hands of that bird. What would have happened if he screwed up? I internally curse up a storm while dashing toward Airi. As if her strings had been cut, Airi collapses to the floor, powerless. It looks like she's been freed from Kokomijima's curse. I hurriedly pick Airi up. Her body is shockingly light. That bastard went and disappeared. Michi is using his phone droid to look around. Did Kokomijima really withdraw? I doubt it, but he's been waiting for us on Tanagashima. He must be waiting for us on Tanagashima. Let's take this chance to get out of here. We all nod in response to Akiho's suggestion. I rush into the plane with Airi on my back. The sexual harassment parakeet also comes flying in, handgun in its claws. After checking to make sure everyone's on board, we stow the ramp. With the door closed and locked tight, I shout toward the cockpit. Dad, take off! The propeller starts spinning, slowly at first and gradually gain speed. I sit Airi down in the seat and fasten the seatbelt. The aircraft starts to slowly bust toward the runway. After making sure Airi is secure, I plant myself next to Akiho. I fasten my seatbelt, take a deep breath, and Akiho puts her hand over mine. Her hand is shaking like crazy. Kai. She says my name, but immediately hangs her head low. Pilot Gun Build 1. Akiho's tearing up again. She's doing everything in her power not to start crying. Our fingers intertwine as she grips onto my hand tightly. Her nails are digging into me. It hurts, but I can deal with it. Use Gun Build 1 to beat Misa. Please. I got this. That was my plan from the start. We are now prepared for takeoff. We'll be departing ASAP. JAC special flight departing at 9:23 p.m. Non-stop flight to Tanagashima. Due to emergency circumstances, we have no flight plan. There may be unexpected climbs, falls, or course changes. But don't worry, I'll get you all to Tanagashima no matter what. We might only be together for a short time, but please enjoy your flight. And Kaito, I'm proud of you. Take care of Aki-chan and Misa-chan. Yeah, I know. The engine starts to roar. The plane suddenly accelerates. I can feel the G-force on my entire body. The plane's frame inclines diagonally, and the ground outside the window slowly grows distant. Farewell, Tokyo. I'll see you again, I'm sure. But now it's time to head home. Even if there's a war waiting for us there, it's time that we return to the island where we were born. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is another episode of Robotics Notes Elite Like Animal Crossing, by far the longest. I will see you all tomorrow, and then the day after for the final 2 episodes of Robotics Notes Elite Like Animal Crossing, but until then, Nochio! Whew.